This guy had a legendary life as an MMA champion for many consecutive seasons, but at the age of 27, right after retiring, he got hit by a truck and kicked the bucket. A death couldn't be any more pathetic. So the money that Hyun-seok worked so hard to save for his retirement, he couldn't even spend it now. At first, he couldn't accept that he had kicked the bucket. But 30 minutes later, Hyun-seok calmed down and felt that maybe this was for the best, no more living anymore. And he wouldn't need to practice or fight every single day either. Suddenly, a blinding light appeared in front of Hyun-seok, and a portal opened in the center of that light. Oh hey, sorry for being late. SSS rank hero, you are Choi Hyun-seok. A flesh and blood angel appeared in front of Hyun-seok. She introduced herself as Jiko, a hunter who specializes in finding people who have ended their lives on Earth. As soon as he saw Jiko, Hyun-seok's eyes lit up. The reason was that her C-cup chest was extremely eye-catching, and he unconsciously leaned in, wanting to touch her. Hey, Angel, can you explain this in more detail? Jiko managed to catch Hyun-seok's wandering hand before he could touch her. Then she started to explain. Sure, you have two choices. One is to accept death as it is and wait until you are reincarnated into your next life as a miserable, lonely old man. The other choice is to immediately be reincarnated as a hero destined to save a world. Hyun-seok felt like Jiko's explanation was missing something, but he didn't know what it was. This is all too sudden. Give me some time to think, he said. But Jiko had no intention of letting him consider. She started using words to sway Hyun-seok's will. I mean, are you really planning to pass up this chance to live again? If you listen to me, you will have wealth, fame, beautiful women, and other privileges. Those who become heroes are also granted a status window as an extra reward, allowing you to become a powerful character, just like in a game. After all, we offer an extremely fantastic service with a extremely diverse range of rewards. That sounded appealing, but wouldn't becoming a hero with the responsibility of saving the world mean Hyun-seok would have to fight again? He had already retired at the peak of his career just because he wanted to rest, yet Jiko wanted him to fight again. In that case, he'd rather just stay dead than reincarnate. Seeing Hyun-seok's unenthusiastic expression at the privileges she was painting, Jiko changed her strategy to convince him. Please pay attention, it seems you don't quite understand. So Jiko here will explain it to you. If you become a hero in another world, the village chief will run barefoot to serve you food the moment you start. You will look at him affectionately and take care of the simple requests he gives you in a cool way. At that moment, the village chief will be moved and say, "My daughter is known as the most beautiful girl in this village. If you will please marry my humble daughter, as we have nothing else to repay you with." It's like that. Even though she had said that much, Jiko still saw that Hyun-seok wasn't moved at all. She started to worry. If he stayed stubborn as a rock, her bounty money would just fly away. Seeing that things didn't look good, Jiko decided to execute Plan B. She turned away decisively. Fine, if you don't like it, forget it. I'll just assume you didn't accept. I'm leaving. Just accept finishing your life as a lonely old man, and happily accept your next life. Sure enough, the moment she turned away, Hyun-seok immediately became frantic. Wait! Seeing he had wavered, Jiko added a final fatal blow. Well, although I'm not sure you'll even be reincarnated as a human in your next life, this sentence truly dealt damage. Hyun-seok couldn't imagine the prospect of having to be a pig or a dog in his next life. So in his desperation, he grabbed Jiko's ankle to hold her back. All right, I'll do it. Although she was secretly thrilled, Jiko still tried to act arrogant. What, I didn't hear you clearly? Hyun-seok immediately shouted, I said I'll do it. I'll be a hero, I'll become a hero. A sly smile appeared on Jiko's face, truly the smile of a salesperson who just hit her end-of-month KPI. She was just waiting for him to say that. She immediately opened a magic circle to send Hyun-seok to the world, waiting for him to become a hero, even though he hadn't prepared at all. There we go, have a fun trip either way. You're going anyway, so why think so much? After hurriedly pushing Hyun-seok away, Jiko said her goodbyes. Her mood now was as relaxed as if she had just thrown out a bag of trash. Immediately after that, Jiko received a notification. Promising hero number 137,421 Choi Hyun-seok has just completed reincarnation. And poor Hyun-seok had no idea that he had just been scammed. He wasn't the only promising hero, he was just Jiko's bounty, number 137,421. Open your eyes. Get up. I don't know how much time had passed, but Hyun-seok dreamily heard a voice calling him. He wasn't fully awake yet, but he had already started thinking about a lot of things. Is this the village Jiko told him about? So after I open my eyes, a village elder will come to serve me a meal, right? Hyun-seok kept thinking the journey would develop in that direction, but unexpectedly, right after that, he felt an unbearable pain from being hit hard in the stomach by someone. I'll gouge your eyes out. Get up now. Hyun-seok, having just reincarnated, had just been hit and cursed at it. Really was unbearable. He sat up abruptly and shouted, "You lunatic! Why are you saying such deadly things?" But the moment he saw that lunatic, he froze and immediately shut his mouth. Who are you to dare to keep sleeping in the slave quarters? The person in front of Hyun-seok at this moment had nothing to do with the gentle village chief, with the beautiful daughter that Jiko had described earlier. Anyone looking would think this was just a monster in a dungeon that Hyun-seok had to deal with. And so his tone dropped a few notches. I am a hero. You're a hero, the other person asked back sarcastically. Are heroes this stupid nowadays? Oh, at this moment, Hyun-seok looked closely. It was a tall man wearing a helmet made from the skull of a buffalo or ox. Although his face wasn't clear, the man's presence was extremely overwhelming, and now he felt like something was wrong. To calm his restless mood, Hyun-seok comforted himself thinking that an angel like Jiko wouldn't have any reason to lie to him. So is this bull-headed guy his first training mission? The more he thought about it, the more Hyun-seok trembled. That was a feeling he had never experienced on the MMA mats. Calm down, Hyun-seok, he thought to himself, if he could understand. Overwhelmed and uneasy, Hyun-seok tried to calm his racing heart, telling himself that an angel like Jiko would never lie to him. Was this blockhead actually his first trial? The more he thought about it, the more he trembled, a feeling he had never experienced in all his MMA matches. Calm down, Hyun-seok muttered to himself. If I can just understand. At this point, as a Korean, I thought I had to act the part. Pretend to be obedient, you know. But for some reason, my legs... Hyun-seok didn't listen to his brain. He kicked that minotaur square in the chest. When he felt his foot hit the beast's hide, he was thrilled, thinking he actually landed a hit. Little did he know he only connected because the monster had caught his ankle. So you call yourself a hero, huh? I'm sick of this nonsense. Totally sick of it. Where do these lunatics keep coming from? The monster's grip was so powerful, it felt like his ankle was about to shatter. He struggled to break free, but no. You'll wake up refreshed after a good night's sleep, you self-proclaimed hero. The Minotaur spoke, throwing a punch. That was the first time in the life of Choi Hyun-seok, a multi-year MMA champion, that he watched someone throw a punch and couldn't even react. When he woke up again, he'd been thrown into a dungeon. Deep underground, Hyun-seok couldn't accept that things weren't going the way Jiko had promised. He started screaming in his cell. Open the door, you psycho! Bring that Minotaur back here. Let's go another round. The cell door actually opened. A jailer with a blood-stained giant blade stormed in. Who's making all that noise? Even though he was an MMA champion, when he saw a real sword, Hyun-seok turned into a coward like anyone else. He fell backward, shaking his head frantically to show it wasn't him shouting. Hey you! If you yell one more time, I'll boil you into soup. Yes, sir, I'll be quiet, Hyun-seok replied without thinking. I'll be watching you behave yourself. Yes, I understand, goodbye. Hyun-seok was scared to tears. That jailer was a goblin. First a minotaur, now a goblin. Carrying a real sword. It seemed Hyun-seok had truly transmigrated into a fantasy world. He regretted agreeing with Jiko so quickly. This so-called wonderful adventure. In another world, it's all absolute rubbish. Forget about the prettiest girl or the village chief's daughter. Hyun-seok was terrified he'd die a virgin before he even got started. Hey, you newcomer. Suddenly, a voice drifted down from the air vent. Someone who, Hyun-seok immediately replied. Me, I'm a senior hero in the making. We're in the Demon King's army fortress. Hyun-seok realized the guy was also Korean. Meeting a countryman in a place like this got him incredibly worked up. Even though a wall separated them, Hyun-seok still tried to ask, Senior, what's going on here? Why did we end up in this place? You really want to know, the other guy replied, then suddenly raised his voice. "Hey, are any of you self-proclaimed heroes still alive? A real hero has come to save us." Immediately, countless voices, responded to him. Everyone called themselves a hero and was begging for their lives. This made Hyun-seok even more shocked. What is this world actually about? As you can see, there are hundreds of heroes trapped in the Demon King's fortress. The Minotaur you were looking for is the leader of this place, Red Room, and the jailer you saw earlier is called Jack. He's infamous for his cruelty, so be careful. Actually, don't bother being careful because you're already on his radar. And another thing, the reason we are all here is because of that evil demon named Jaecho. The man explained it all at once. When he mentioned Jaecho, Hyun-seok couldn't stop the tension and swallowed hard. And as for the man, when he mentioned Jaecho, his voice was filled with unmistakable rage. "That female demon sent us to the wrong place." "The wrong place!" Hyun-seok became even more desperate. "Senior, what do you mean we weren't supposed to start here?" "Yeah, definitely. Heroes captured and brought from elsewhere have said the same thing. They said there's a starting area, specifically for heroes, and most heroes set off from cities or villages. Heroes usually live without any powers at first, but none of them started their journey right in the middle of the Demon King's army like we did." The more he explained, the more Hyun-seok felt like things were going to hell. Could his current situation all be because of that angel? Was that beautiful girl with blonde hair and a huge chest actually a female demon? Not long after Hyun-seok's hellish life officially began, he was promised he'd become a hero, but now he was experiencing the life of a slave. Every day, Hyun-seok and another hero had to carry a giant piece of wood while he sat on it. He managed the people in the same situation as them, forcing them into hard labor until they were bled dry. Then he would let them rest. Hyun-seok had to stand in this position all day, his entire body aching with fatigue, but he didn't dare show any dissatisfaction. He could only think to himself, "You fat, short goblin bastard. One day I'm going to tear you to pieces." Later, Hyun-seok was released. It was the first time he'd ever thought this prison was actually not that bad. Thinking back before coming here, Jaecho kept talking nonsense about hero perks and a status window like a game character. Hyun-seok had been too busy to think about it, but now he wanted to see if it was real or if she'd tricked him again. However, when he called up the status window in front of his face, something actually appeared. Currently, he was at level 1 with a strength stat of 28 agility, of 29 vitality of 30, 1 in 10 mana points. The only unique ability Hyun-seok possessed right now was called Common Rank D. "Is this my status? Rank D Vitality 31. "What does that mean?" Hyun-seok muttered. The guy in the next cell heard him and immediately reached through the vent excitedly asking, "You've got vitality points?" "Yeah, I think so. My strength is 28. You said you were a champion. You really are built differently. To already have stats over 30 while still at level 1, that's clearly a compliment." But Hyun-seok didn't feel happy at all, because no matter how high his stats were, he was still just a slave. But that guy seemed really happy. No. If it's you, you can definitely escape from here and become a hero. Normal people only get common at this stage. Your case is rare. Yeah, good night." The guy kept rambling, giving Hyun-seok a headache. He laid flat on the floor and covered his ears. Hyun-seok didn't let the words, "That guy went in head first," because he had absolutely no hope left. Getting a level 1 newbie like you to break out of this Demon King's prison by midnight, once the guy in the next cell was asleep. Hyun-seok quietly sat up to study his status window more closely. At this point, there were two things that looked promising. First, mana, which grants superhuman strength, and second, hero points. This hero stat, he still didn't know what it did. It seemed like those fake heroes didn't know anything about it either. The proof was that when Hyun-seok asked the senior in the next cell if he had any hero points, the result was that he said he didn't. When Hyun-seok was deep in thought studying the window, a familiar blinding light suddenly appeared. "Oh, my long time no-see hero." Hyun-seok jumped out of his skin when he saw who had just appeared. Wasn't this the great-great-grandmother Jiko who had tricked him and kicked him here? Before he could even say a word, she put on an incredibly alluring expression, just like the first time they met, then continued, "Rachel here. Should I tell you about the use of those hero points?" Though it sounded like a question before, Hyunsuk could answer. Rachel started rambling. Hero points are a vital trait that makes a hero's life much easier. You can earn them. That's by completing missions, and you can use those points to... She hadn't even finished her sentence when she was snatched up by one of Hyunsuk's hands. Because Jiko was in mini-size, he could easily crush her with just one hand. Then Hyunsuk made a face that couldn't be more annoyed. "I don't care about hero points or whatever the hell that is, and you deserve a good beating." After that, Hyunsuk punished Jiko by tying her up and attaching her to a fishing rod. She had to desperately explain her blunder to calm him down. Turns out Rachel's magic circle was broken because she'd spilled some coffee on it while snacking, and she didn't even know it herself, which was why she'd sent Hyunsuk to this place. Rachel herself was punished by becoming Hyunsuk's manager, or more accurately, fairy assistant. Rachel would have to accompany him until he defeated the Demon King, even though she had finished her internship 100 years ago. "Sorry, but I don't care about any of this hero stuff anymore." Hyunsuk. What do you mean I don't plan on defeating any Demon King? I mean, I'm just going to live a normal life here. He finished speaking and lay back down, set on going to sleep. Rachel seemed flustered and hurriedly tried to persuade him. "Hey, there are many promising heroes who decided the same as you, but you have SSS tier potential." But Hyunsuk seemed much more stubborn than she'd expected. "That doesn't mean I have to do this or that. From the start, I never considered it my mission anyway. I don't want to live and fight endlessly, like in my previous life. Good night." Hyunsuk was completely uninterested in continuing the conversation no matter what Jiko said. At that moment, she suddenly felt her future was under serious threat, but Jiko didn't understand why. Hyunsuk suddenly had such strong opinions. In her eyes, he was just an idiot who only knew how to fight and chase women. But if he was this adamant, then Jiko didn't know what to do. She wasn't happy about being sent here to be his fairy assistant either. "What? Why do I have to be the fairy assistant for Choi Hyunsuk? Maybe I made a mistake, but to be a fairy assistant again, isn't that a bit too much? Above all, you want me to stay with him until he kills the Demon King." Jiko shuddered, remembering when her superior tossed her here. Even though she had struggled with all her might, she still couldn't resist that supreme power. "The final decision lies in my hands, Rachel. Now go. Rachel, I will send you to the Demon Fortress, where Choi Hyunsuk is currently. Don't return until you complete your mission." And just like that, Rachel was tossed into the human world she hated most. Fairy assistant, it might sound fancy, but in reality it's just a support role for a designated hero required to actively coordinate and share both success and failure with that hero. That is why she appeared here and had to listen to Hyunsuk. "Wait, anyway, a fairy assistant has to follow every word of their hero, right?" he suddenly asked. "Yes, of course, Rachel." She thought Hyunsuk had changed his mind. "Then you'll have to join my escape plan." As soon as he said that, the door was rudely pounded on a few times. Quick as a flash, Hyunsuk jumped up, grabbed Rachel and hit her. Immediately after the door opened, and a few green goblins appeared. "Get up, you pieces of meat! I can use invisibility." Rachel, held tight in Hyunsuk's palm, was vehemently protesting. He wasn't in the mood to care about her. Screaming, Hyunsuk just wondered why these bastards were appearing here again, even though they'd already done roll call today. That chilling feeling was truly a bad omen. Sure enough, soon after Hyunsuk received a notice that Jiko was looking for him, he was confused, being led to the Minotaur's room. "I heard that these past few days you have been working very hard. Jack told me he has a beautiful new mount." Red Room looked at Hyunsuk, who was forced to carry Jack, speaking in a very gentle tone. This situation didn't seem like what Hyunsuk had imagined at all. He wouldn't have dreamed in his wildest dreams that this smelly goblin bastard would praise him. But Ju Yun seemed to be sincerely praising him. "At first I thought you were just a crazy human, but it's good that you've been working hard. So do you want to become the slave leader?" It was like a bolt of lightning from the blue. Hyun-seok couldn't think of what was waiting for him ahead. Did this offer have a trap? Or what Ray-jun explained that he made this proposal because work speed had dropped over the last few days. Meanwhile, Ray-jun, who was invisible at the moment, kept rambling in his ear. You aren't going to accept, are you? You're going to reject him, right? Answer me, listen to me. How can a hero bow down to the Demon King's subordinates? Anyway, it seemed because Rachel was talking too loudly, she was invisible, not soundproof. Both Drake and Jack could vaguely hear something. To cover it up, Hyun-seok had no choice but to roar to mask the mosquito-like sound from Rachel. Thank you, sir, leave it to me. I will do my best to make those people there work very productively. With his Pico score exceeding expectations, Joey-jun didn't even notice Joey-jun's voice anymore. He said he was increasingly impressed with him, and even promised that if he performed well in his mission, Slave Overseer, I can write a special letter of recommendation for you to join the Demon King's army. Now you may leave. After giving those instructions, Red Room, in short, Hyun-seo tried to swallow his tears. Damn it, his escape plan had gone up in smoke. A few days later, Hyun-seo played his villain role. Better than anything he could have imagined. His job was just to sit in the guard tower, munching on apples and cursing at the people below. Hey, you move faster. Do you hear me, you old hag? I'm running faster than you, and at this rate, how are we supposed to meet today's quota? By shouting no, leading everyone for a long time, his hidden skill, called prestige, was enhanced. Just by sitting around getting paid for doing nothing, he was already picking up new skills. Hyun-seo felt extremely satisfied with his position as the slave overseer, while the others, of course, found him incredibly irritating. That guy has finally gone rogue. I heard he used to be a hero too. They weren't the only ones. Complaining about this change in Hyun-seo, the person with the most violent reaction naturally was Jae-ju. She thought they would run into big trouble if he kept acting like this. Just trust me, Hyun-seo replied. A sparrow like you could never understand the heart of a phoenix like me. After that, he started shouting again, not even sparing those who had fainted and collapsed on the ground. The system sent a notification to Hyun-seo. The favorability Zedron has for you has increased. Only a few more steps until you reach your goal. Hyun-seo, after reading the notification, immediately turned toward Zedron's distant room and loudly buttered him up. Thank you, my lord. This time, Zedron really couldn't take it anymore. She used the highest volume to scream into his ear, Mr. Hero, I thought you wanted to continue the adventure and escape this place, not like this. Is this an adventure or a runaway? Hey, I'm just following what the system says. Isn't following the system also a hero's mission, but increasing the favorability of the Demon King's subordinate? What is that you want me to believe there's actually a mission like that? Why not? You want me to read it out loud? Hyun-seo asked. Back then started, obnoxiously reading the system mission. You woke up in the Demon King's fortress due to the mistake of some idiot. That's not right. This line is weird. Rachel interrupted him because she felt like Hyun-seo was taking a dig at her. The system is just a program using neutral language. How could it call someone an idiot? Could it be that an SSSS rank hero system is a bit different? But it's the truth. What else do you want me to do? Hyun-seo replied while Jae-ju really couldn't do anything to him, other than scream, recalling the previous night. After returning from Rachel's room, she had also screamed at a similar volume. Rachel questioned why Hyun-seo could happily accept the offer to be the Demon King's slave overseer. Then, as usual, she was grabbed by him with just one hand. Rachel had the feeling that if Hyun-seo used just a little more force, she would be crushed to a pulp. I'm not the crazy one here, you are. Whose fault was it from the start? Right after that, a system window appeared in front of Hyun-seo, and he wasn't lying at all because it read, You woke up in the Demon King's fortress due to the mistake of some idiot. That feels a bit off, like going to the bathroom and running out of toilet paper. But don't be discouraged. Luckily, you have been granted a chance. Collect favorability from Officer Zedron of the Demon King's army. For a true hero must learn how to utilize their enemies. Goal, reach Zedron's favorability. Reward 100 hero points. At first, Hyunseo was also suspicious of this absurd mission, but he adapted to it very quickly. Only Jeju was annoyed and couldn't do anything about it. Furthermore, she knew that only superiors had the right to change mission content. So why change Hyunseo's mission? Jeju really couldn't figure it out. And hey, your Mount Zap suddenly appeared and summoned Hyunseo. Follow me. Lord Zydran is calling for you. So he went to that guy's office once again, his face beaming with excitement, which showed he was in a great mood because he heard slave productivity had increased significantly since Hyunseo took the position of overseer. When he praised him, he wasn't arrogant. On the contrary, he flattered him back. It's nothing, my lord. I'm just a lowly, ignorant human. It's all thanks to your wise choice, Lord Zydran. Rachel on the side was speechless. You don't think those cheap, flattering words will work, do you? She muttered. And yet, they actually worked. Because after that, Hyunseo received a notification that Jaehyun's favorability toward him had reached the threshold. The hero mission was completed. Hyunseo's reward, as stated, was 100 hero points, and the novice hero shop was unlocked. Seeing that it actually worked, Jaehyun also had to drop his jaw in amazement. As for Hyunseo, since things were progressing well and the favorability mission was done, it was time for him to proceed to the next step of the plan. So Hyunseo hesitantly spoke up. Lord Zydran, if you don't mind, could I start a slave training course? Slave training. Zydran frowned and asked. This change in him was enough to make Hyunseo especially tense, but he continued. Just think about it, my lord. A group of elite slaves working together, slaves who are extremely disciplined, doing the work of 3 people without a trace of laziness. With those slaves, even the construction of the fortress could be finished within a week. Hearing that, it sounded interesting, but Zydran didn't feel it was very promising, because human physical strength was too weak to work and train at the same time. The commander will tell you that Red Room, you've done well, Hyunseo replied, having grasped the opponent's psychology, that Red Room was essentially just a low-ranking officer under the Demon King, and he also wanted it to be praised by his superiors. So he replied without further consideration, proceed. Just like that, Hyunseo's plan was approved. Jeju couldn't understand that twisted logic of his. She only felt that her hero had gone freaking crazy, first bowing in submission to the Demon King's army, and now even training slaves. Jeju began to feel sorry for her own fate being tied to a hero like that. It's so noisy, Hyunseo interrupted when she was still blabbering on. Listen, I have a plan. What plan? Are you going to trick me again? Rachel screamed indignantly. Trick the hell out of you. You think I'm you or something? Look, I'm planning to use the slaves to spark a revolt. What a revolt? Rachel was, ultimately, first kneeling before the Demon King's army and now training slaves. Ryucho grumbled, pitying her own fate for being stuck with such a hero. Seriously, you're so loud, Hyunsok cut her off. Listen, I've got a plan. A plan? You're trying to trick me again, aren't you? Rachel shrieked, indignant. Trick you? The hell do you think I'm you? Look, I'm planning to use these slaves to start a rebellion. What a rebellion? Now calm enough, I listened to Hyunseo explain that this fortress held 3,000 slaves, while the Demon King's army guarding them numbered only 500. Furthermore, there was a human alliance base not far from here, and they would surely rush to build it up. In the chaos of the uprising, Hyunseo figured he could request support from the alliance. When she heard this, Rachel suddenly felt her bleak future start to shine. Hero, it seems you aren't just an idiot who only knows how to use his muscles and fight, huh? How truly touching. Hyunseo ignored her mix of jabs and praise. Now he only needed to check his quest rewards. That last mission, 100 hero points. He still didn't know how to use them, though. You actually have hero points? Rachel asked, surprised, since she'd thought the mission to please Zydran was something Hyunseo made up. I told you, and now I also have something called a rookie hero shop. Hyunseo immediately opened the shop interface. He hoped the system would give him something decent. After all, this was supposed to be his lifeline. With eager anticipation, Hyunseo opened it and found a few skills, but the first was hold breath, and the second was, "Hold in your crap." Both were F rank. The rest were things like cooking, cleaning, or doing laundry. He stared at the screen, stunned. Rachel, standing nearby, couldn't help but burst into laughter. She explained that it was because Hyunseo's hero shop was only at level 1. If he collected more hero points and upgraded the shop, who knew what useful things he might find? "Shut up, you scamming fairy." Hyunseo roared, reaching out to grab her. It seemed they would have many more cat and dog fights from here on out. The next morning, as usual, Hyunseo continued his career as the slave manager. Today was the first day of slave training. The heroes captured as slaves had to line up neatly, under Hyunseo's direction, unwillingly singing songs praising the Demon King. They weren't happy about it, but when Zedran saw the scene, he was very pleased. He became more and more convinced that letting Hyunseo train the slaves was the right move. Just then, Zed suddenly rushed into his office with a panicked look, saying there was urgent news. "My Lord Zedran, the human army is advancing this way. The 8th division that faced them has fallen into a trap and been captured." Zedran was startled because the 8th division was the largest unit in his territory. If this division was wiped out, then the human army reaching here was only a matter of time. Abandoned the fortress when it was nearly finished. He thought to himself clearly, feeling very bitter. Jack urged Zedran to evacuate immediately, but he didn't. Rush. In Zedran's mind, since ancient times, war was considered a struggle for supplies, and the first rule of war was never to lose a capable supply officer. Thus, he made a bold decision. "Keep going, Jack. I will take care of Choi Hyunseo and follow you." Meanwhile, Hyunseo was still focused on training the slaves to sing. He had wanted to train them how to fight, but because Zedran kept monitoring them, he hadn't been able to proceed yet. Suddenly, Hyunseo heard a sound. It was the noise of Zedran bursting through the iron bars of his window to jump outside. Then, while he was still sighing about not having any new quests, Zedran leaped from the high floor and landed right next to him. Hyunseo jumped in fright. "What's going on? No time to explain. Come with me right now, Choi Hyunseo." "Yes, but why so suddenly? Where are we going?" Seeing him so rushed, Hyunseo panicked even more. "Zedran." I hadn't even finished pulling Hyunseo along when they heard loud shouting, "Attack! Victory is within our grasp." The fortress gates were blown open. The human army had entered. As soon as they appeared, they unleashed a volley of arrows, taking down many goblins. Zedran was immediately targeted. "Over there, that bastard is the Red Nightmare Zedran." The soldiers stepped back. "The knights will handle the enemy, a commander," Dai shouted, and the army quickly surrounded Zedran and Hyunseo, who was being gripped tightly by him. Although he didn't know why the human army had appeared here, wasn't this his chance? A chance to backstab the commander of the demon army and return to human society. As that thought flashed through Hyunseo's mind, a human knight lunged straight toward them, but the guy seemed much tougher than he had imagined. Zedran used one hand to grab the knight's head and squeezed hard. Even though the man was wearing a sturdy helmet, his skull quickly shattered under Zedran's grip. Immediately after Zedran unleashed the 7th form of the martial art named after himself, a wave of destructive energy exploded outward, creating a massive shockwave centered on him, and the entire human army was sent reeling by that power. "Are you still okay, Choi Hyunseo?" After finishing, Zedran turned back to ask with clear concern. It seemed he really considered him a loyal subordinate, which was why he cared about him like that. The thought of betraying Zedran and returning to human society just sparked in his head was immediately crushed. "I will leave." "Right away, my lord," Hyunseo said. Even so, Zedran himself couldn't hold out for too long, so the fortress was quickly taken over by the human army. The slaves were liberated and divided into groups based on the kingdoms they came from. The warriors and ordinary prisoners were also separated. This made the warriors who had been imprisoned for so long feel deeply comforted. "Wow, finally we are being treated like the warriors. Thank you all for coming." Among the group, a man of age and great dignity suddenly appeared. He introduced himself as Oliver Grimier. the Duke of the Russian Empire and the commander of the Allied forces. Commander, the evacuation of the residence is complete. I have also made a list of those claiming to be warriors. A soldier reported to Oliver. Then begin. He wore a dangerous smile as he replied. The soldier nodded and ordered the other troops to their positions, but, strangely, they drew their swords. Then they received the order to eliminate all the warriors who had been separated into their own group. This sudden situation made those who called themselves heroes. Everyone was shocked and panicked. Meanwhile, Hyunseo, currently sitting in the Demon King's army evacuation carriage, kept groaning, "Goodbye, world. Goodbye. Goodbye, my adventure. Goodbye, my second life." He didn't know that being forced to follow Zedran had actually saved his life. If he had stayed at the fortress and proclaimed himself a hero like the others, he would have already been on the list of the unlucky ones. Along the way, Hyunseo was in the same carriage as Zedran. Zedran was so violent that he crushed the heads of those pursuing them, so now no one dared to chase them anymore. "Warrior, please pull yourself together." Seeing Hyunseo's mood was not good at all, Zedran whispered from the side to comfort him. "This time of crisis is your chance. Go to their headquarters and grasp the situation of the Demon King's army exactly." "Shut up, you liar," Hyunseo almost shouted, but it seemed he couldn't control his volume. So Zedran, who was dozing off, suddenly woke up. "What did you just say?" he asked. Hyunseo quickly shook his head repeatedly, saying he was just muttering to himself that he was truly honored to be riding in the same carriage as him. Zedran was also a gullible person. He believed it immediately, and even looked very happy. According to Zedran, they had almost evacuated to the 3rd Legion headquarters. When they arrived, he would officially enlist him into the Demon King's army. "It is truly the ultimate honor for me, sir," Hyunseo replied. But inside he had already broken down. Before long, they arrived at the 3rd Legion headquarters. The guards at the gate, having heard that Zedran had returned, hurriedly opened the city gates. "Follow me. I will take you straight to the commander," Zedran said to Hyunseo as he stepped out of the carriage. "It is truly a supreme honor for me to meet the commander so quickly." Hyunseo continued his flattery, but his heart was breaking more and more. "It is an honor indeed, but remember to watch your manners in front of the commander if you don't want to lose your life," Zedran Sisame warned. It seemed he deliberately emphasized the words, "lose your life," making Hyunseo tremble from head to toe. He tried to force himself to stay calm. "They say as long as you have your wits you can survive even in a tiger's den, right?" Hyunseo wasn't a fool. He believed he would survive this ordeal, so he followed Zedran to Commander Hamus's office. After reporting, the two were allowed to enter, but Hyunseo heard a woman's voice from inside. Could Commander Hamus be a girl? "Oh boy, look. Who's here?" "You're back, Zedran. You're even more muscular than before." As they stepped inside, the person sitting in the chair was indeed a woman. More accurately, a female demon with long ears like an elf, her eyes covered by a silk ribbon and a mouth stretched to her ears, but it had been meticulously stitched shut. She was Hamus, the commander of the 3rd Legion. "Your beauty is becoming more radiant, Commander," Hyunseo replied. The two went back and forth teasing each other, making the air thick with ambiguity. However, Hyunseo was currently shocked by Hamus's haunting beauty. He didn't know what to say to properly praise her beauty. Commander, I am very ashamed that I could not protect the fortress." Zedran stepped forward and said, "Hamus, it seems she doesn't care much. She said it was entirely the fault of the 8th Division commander, not his." Mentioning the 8th Division commander, Hamus's expression didn't change much calmly, saying, "I should have flayed him to make a new bag." Hyunseo intended to praise Hamus's beauty earlier, but the cruelty of this woman made him unable to breathe. Hamus's pressure was on a completely different level from anyone he had met before. Thankfully, right after that, Hamus withdrew her malice and slowly sat up. "Whatever, but who is the human you brought?" Only then did Zedran have time to introduce Hyunseo. Hearing what he said, it seemed he had reported about him to his superiors beforehand, and this time, Zedran wanted to officially let him join the Demon King's army. "Hamus," they stepped closer, her sharp fingernails gently poking at Hyunseo's skin. Cute. A talented person chosen by Zedrun himself. Should I have high expectations? I will try my best, ma'am. Hyunseo was so tense he couldn't control, his volume almost yelling. Hamus looked him up and down once more, then commented that he wouldn't be able to survive in the demon army with this frail body. Zedrun completely agreed with her point and added that Hyunseo would soon be devoured by others, and the fact that a human is joining the demon army is unprecedented. So Zedrun asked Hamus for permission to personally train Hyunseo, but this time, she quickly refused with the reason that Zedrun cannot waste time on a human. When saying this, Hamus's sharp claws slowly brought up to her mouth, then tore the stitches at the corners of her mouth open. Instantly, from a hauntingly beautiful woman, she transformed into a monster. Hamus's head turned into a man-eating flower, and that scene made Hyunseo frozen in place. Next, Hamus pulled out of her throat a creature, and it wasn't clear what it was. Then her face slowly recovered as before. From now on, you are designated as the caretaker of my pet, Hamus said to Hyunseo. This little guy is Bobo. Isn't it cute? Hyunseo really had to swallow his criticisms down his throat. A pet? Huh, it looks like a dog and also like a damn demon from hell. He didn't know how to lie through his teeth to praise Bobo. When Zedrun spoke up first. Wow, I can feel a powerful source of energy, even though it's just a baby. I can also feel its elegance. Hamus seemed very happy with these compliments. Then she turned back to Hyunseo, her tone cooling down by a few degrees. What is that reaction of yours? Do you not like it? Hyunseo reacted immediately. Demon Army candidate Choi Hyunseo truly honored to be Bobo's caretaker. Good, that's what I like to hear, Hamus replied, satisfied, then tossed the dog into Hyunseo's arms, not forgetting to remind him to feed it on time, because Bobo is still at a growing age, and if it gets hungry, it will be angry. Yes, ma'am. Hyunseo, following Hamus's orders, went to get the uniform and took Bobo to its kennel. When the animal was already asleep, he dared to tell Jojo that he had received a new hero mission, and that mission was to increase Bobo's affection. The reward is 200 hero points. This time, even Hyunseo had to doubt that damn mission-issuing system. Previously, it made him earn affection points from the commander, which was fine, but now, it even forces him to make the commander's pet love him too. Do these missions even resemble a hero's, "Hey human"? The door was knocked a few times. A goblin. Dwarfs step in by basic survival instinct. Hyunsok immediately bows low to greet him. This goblin is also the caretaker of Bobo, even though he hates being around low-level goblins. They look down on me, but Hyunsok has no way to fight back. Where are the other seniors? He asks, trying to make conversation. There's no one left. They're all dead. So from now on, you and I will prepare the meals. For Bobo, he replies. If you understand, then get moving. As soon as he finished speaking, Bobo woke up from a short nap. It seems like he's hungry, otherwise he wouldn't be licking the bald head of that goblin. Realizing he was about to be served as lunch, the goblin immediately ran over, grabbed Hyunsok's leg, and kept shoving him toward the vicious dog. You're awake, huh? Ah, here's some fresh human meat, prepared just for you. By now, Hyunsok has no heart left to butter up this crazy goblin. While struggling to break free, he curses at him non-stop. The other guy is still desperately pushing him toward the dog. Shut up, human. Today one of us has to die, and it's going to be you, Hyunsok. He's not about to give up like that. After all, his opponent is a goblin 3 times smaller than him. How could he lose? With that thought, Hyunsok hurls him toward Bobo. Here's your food, Bobo. And then a sight too tragic to watch unfolds. It seems Bobo is very satisfied with this meal. That's something both Hyunsok and Jiko can see. He narrowly escaped a disaster, but Jiko was spotted by the monster. It starts spending time, chasing her like a pastime, and Jiko is not having any fun at all. Don't make it run for too long. It'll get hungry again. Hyunsok warns her while his hands are frantically scrolling through the hero store hoping to find something useful. And Hyunsok actually finds it. It's a massive bone that can attract all kinds of monsters, costing 30 hero points. Hyunsok doesn't think twice and buys it immediately. Bobo's still busy chasing Jiko turns his head in annoyance when he hears his name called. Bobo, do you want this? He points to the bone in his hand, then uses all his strength to throw it. If you want it, go get it. The dog quickly chases after it and catches the bone. Only then does Jiko get a moment to breathe. Where did you find that item I wish you had found? It's sooner, she gasps, panting. It's all thanks to my genius brain that doesn't miss a single detail. This mission is going to be easy. Hyunsuk hasn't even finished his sentence when Bobo lunges at them. If Jiko hadn't been fast, she would have been swallowed in one bite. It seems that bone wasn't enough. Hyunsuk guesses that it wants fresh meat. Once again, he has to rack his brain to stay alive, or he'll be eaten sooner or later. Hyunsuk wonders if there is any kind of magic that could calm this mad dog down, and then he decides to take it outside. As soon as it hears it can go outside, Bobo instantly turns into a good dog, and so one human, one dog, and one angel leave that room together. Jiko tries sniffing around to find food, but it's useless. Out of options, she tells Hyunsuk to grab a goblin they accidentally met on the road to ask for directions. Excuse me, can you help guide us? Hyunsuk follows her instructions. The goblin is incredibly surprised to suddenly see a human in the Legion, but when he sees Bobo, he's even more shocked. He's so scared his legs go limp and he falls backward. The goblin asks why Hyunsuk is with Bobo while the dog has already lunged over to lick the goblin. Hey Bobo, don't eat him, Hyunsuk commands. Surprisingly, the dog actually listens to him. After it lets the goblin go, he explains, I'm the one who started taking care of Bobo today. May I ask where the kitchen is? The kitchen is to the left. The goblin blurts out and sprints away as if he's afraid that if he's even a second late, he'll be turned into lunch. Seeing his panicked state, Hyunsuk and Jiko can't help but burst out laughing. Why is he so scared? Is he really a soldier in the demon army? That's what I was just about to say. The two of them laugh for a while before returning to their main mission, finding meat in the kitchen. However, a serious thing happens while they were busy laughing at that cowardly goblin. Bobo's silhouette vanished. Where the hell is that dog? Hyunsuk shouts. If he loses it, he's not sure what Hamus will do to him. Hyunsuk feels that the moment he takes his eyes off for a second, everything turns into a disaster. Jiko scans the surroundings and finally, spots the dog. Oh, honey, you worried me to death. Hyunsuk, thinking he's found a lifeline, starts buttering him up. But when Bobo runs back in, his mind, 3 words pop up. This is bad. Why? Because the corners of Bobo's mouth are covered in blood. Just a few seconds later, the air around them becomes chaotic. Hyunsuk hears panicked voices from more than one person. Commander Regis is dead. Who did this? We'll take revenge on them. Hyunsuk is truly speechless. They probably don't need to guess to know that the culprit of this chaos is Bobo, and as his caretakers they've become the targets of that goblin mob's revenge. Hyunsuk and Jiko are chased by them. With no other choice, he grabs Bobo and runs. Jiko keeps crying while running. Hero, are we really going to die here? Is it over? Shut up, if you have time to whine, just run. Hyunsuk yells back. He runs with all his might, but unlucky. For them, they end up in a dead end. The goblins are right on their heels. By now, Hyunsuk is cornered. In their eyes, he is the one who killed Commander Regis, and they intend to tear him apart and gnaw on his arms and legs like chicken. Wings or drumsticks. They're going to shred both the dog and the human to pieces. Forget it. Chicken. I want fried chicken. That'll crush both the dog and that human. Let's split up, shall we? The goblins looked at Hyunseo like a piece of prime meat. In this situation, trying to reason with them was impossible. It was a desperate situation. Hyunseo was incredibly distressed. Even though his mind was a tangled mess, he forced himself to calm down. Your mental state is the most important thing, and if your spirit isn't steady, you're sure to be defeated. So even though he was scared to death, he mustered his voice and shouted, "How dare you? Do you even know who this brave warrior is? It's not like, yes, you're anything more than just a monster." The goblins looked a bit confused by Hyunseo's sudden bizarre attitude. "What? That's so rude," he shouted even louder. "This is Bobo." As soon as they heard the name Bobo, they instantly recognized it as Commander Hamus's pet. But all they knew was the name. They had never actually seen Bobo before. The goblins grew a bit panicked. Half of them thought it was just a bluff by Hyunseo to escape, while the other half worried that what he said might be true. At that moment, Hyunseo placed Bobo down on the ground. "Why don't you recognize Bobo? How embarrassing. What are you doing, human?" The goblins instinctively backed away from his actions. Just then, a dangerous smile appeared on Hyunseo's face. "What am I doing naturally? I'm switching to beast mode." The moment he was unleashed, Bobo's obedient, cute appearance vanished. It transformed into a mad dog, then opened its maw and lunged at the nearest goblin. The scene that followed was incredibly chaotic and reeked of blood. Meanwhile, Hyunseo stood calmly to the side, observing. A mad dog without a muzzle is enough to trigger a bloodbath. After the first goblin was devoured by Bobo, the rest instantly became much more obedient. They lined up in a neat row and bowed 90 degrees in unison to apologize to Hyunseo. "We're so sorry, it was our ignorance," even though they were afraid of Bobo. Hyunseo got to share in the authority, and with this immense boost in credibility, he managed to subdue many demons, causing his hidden reputation stat to skyrocket. Just as Hyunseo was basking in this sense of power, Hamus's voice suddenly rang out from behind him. "I was wondering why it was so noisy outside. Is a cute rookie doing something interesting out here?" Afterward, Hyunseo followed her back to her private office. There he told Hamus everything that had just happened. Upon learning that Hyunseo had used her and Bobo's reputation to survive, Hamus broke into a delighted smile. Hyunseo immediately knelt down to apologize at her feet. "I'm sorry, my lady. I've committed a grave error." "Nonsense, that was a compliment," Hamus replied. "After all, you're just a human. But you are very smart, not like the idiots here. And you have guts, too." Hyunseo acted as if he didn't hear Hamus's final comment and could only stammer his thanks. But it seemed true that today's events had amused Hamus. Because in the demon army, everything is always settled by force, so it had caused quite a bit of noise and trouble. What Hyunseo did today was like a breath of fresh air, making her suddenly offer a proposal. "Do you want to become an enforcer?" Compared to Zadran's previous offer to make him a head slave, this proposal from Hamus left Hyunseo even more stunned. With this thin, fragile body and skill level of nearly zero, was she actually inviting him to be an enforcer? "Right now it's a bit difficult. I can't keep letting you cling to my name and Bobo," Hamus said slowly. "But the demon army has a decisive tournament that allows you to take your opponent's rank. I will protect you for 1 month, but after that you will have to defeat an opponent I choose. Each time you win, your protection will be extended by another month, and if you can slowly climb your way up to the position of a battalion commander, perhaps then, you'll be useful." It was certainly an attractive offer, but Hyunseo couldn't help but think about the alternative, so he asked, "What if I lose? Then you?" "I don't expect to die peacefully," Hamus replied, the smile on her face becoming increasingly twisted. "You will certainly wish you had died in battle." That smile made Hyunseo's skin crawl, but he had no choice but to accept this bizarre offer, because Hamus looked ready to slice him in two if he dared to say no. After leaving Hamus's office, all of his strength seemed to have been drained. With his opponent being chosen by her personally, Rachel felt like he would have to say a final farewell to Hyunseo in another month. "Hey, you said my potential was ZSS rank, right?" Hyunseo suddenly asked. "Don't you understand what potential is? That's ability, not a fixed power level," Joey Chu replied haughtily. "You call yourself a fairy assistant, but you don't seem very useful, do you?" Hyunseo muttered, but then he suddenly noticed that the two of them were walking past the kitchen. Only this door looked more like it belonged in a horror movie than a normal kitchen. Hyunseo cautiously pushed the door and entered, but before he could even greet anyone, he heard a voice reeking of hostility. "You must be the human the commander mentioned. I am the chef Kunkan. Why are you here?" Just a cook in the demon army, yet it still made Hyunseo's spine chill. He quickly confessed his purpose to get some snacks for Bobo. At this, Kunkan made an ah sound, appearing to realize that Hyunseo was Bobo's new caretaker. Even so, he flatly refused Hyunseo's request. Why should I help you when the commander's only order is not to let anyone lay a hand on you? Is there any other way? Hyunseo tried to negotiate. Kunkan thought for a moment then. Hai replied, if you really need meat, go get it yourself. Following Kunkan's gaze, Hyunseo saw a group of goblins sharing a pile of new meat, but that greenish type of meat looked like the flesh of their own kind, no matter how you sliced it. Hyunseo could even hear their blood-chilling conversation. What kind of meat is this? It's so soft. KK, it's the meat from that Patel guy who died yesterday. He's as delicious as he looks. So it really was cannibalism. Hyunseo tried to suppress the urge to vomit as he watched, the goblins acting like butchers. Behind him, Kunkan's remark meant he was telling Hyunseo to go hunt for himself. A ferocious wild boar charged at Hyunseo, its eyes showing clear hunger as it yelled, "Hurry! Kill it, it's our dinner." This caught Hyunseo off guard, leaving him wondering how I was in this position again. But a moment later, as the wild boar approached, I quickly dodged and realized that the beast had killed Morgan. A cruel truth, they called it hunting, but it was just endless slaughter. I resolved to avenge Morgan and launched a counterattack against the boar, forcing it to reveal its true form. Confident now, I looked at my pathetic opponent and said, I wonder who's really the dinner here. An invisible voice whispered, What do we do now, hero? Should we run? We've already won, Hunsuk replied calmly. Do you really think I can escape a crowd like this? Nevertheless, he remained extremely cautious in his mind, realizing, Phew, she was right. I'm in danger. Then I told myself I had to act. As I was deep in thought, a serious voice rang out. Hey, human, making Hunsuk jump. I immediately raised my hand and replied, Yes, sir, the next one will be me. Kunkan tilted his head back and responded, Hunsuk, no. You don't need to do that. Out there, a large group of people surrounded the carcass of the wild boar that had just been taken down. They cheered with joy. The hunt is over. But Hunsuk couldn't help but wonder. I thought they were just hacking and slashing mindlessly. How did they take it down? Then a demon soldier stood before Kunkun to report the progress, 12 dead, many injured. Hearing these numbers, which contrasted with Kunkun's composure, Hunsuk was incredibly surprised. I thought to myself, the casualties are so high. Mr. Kunkun spoke up. All right, good, let's find our next prey. Hearing this, I realized he didn't care at all. I turned to Jay and whispered, Jay, give me invisibility. Jay was confused and asked, What? I asked her angrily. Are you planning to hunt monsters with them? I immediately denied it. No, why? Fa? Would I do that? I reached behind me and explained, Stats only increase when you level up. That means I just need experience to level up. But Jay was still confused and asked, Right, but where are you going to find experience in this situation? I stammered, continuing, That experience, I can still get it if I just land the final blow, right? This statement made Fabao, her stunned. She was surprised and tremblingly pointed at me. You, that's right, but that's so dirty. But I didn't care. I turned away sharply and said, Thanks for the answer. Let's go. I thought to myself, I don't have many options here. If the commander is truly serious, I have to get stronger within a month. With a sycophantic expression, I approached Kunkun and called out gently, Chief. He looked surprised and replied, Oh, human, I thought you had run away. This made me flinch slightly. I replied awkwardly, I would never do that. I thought to myself, does he know what I'm thinking? I explained to him, I was thinking about joining the next hunt as a member of the brave demon army. Hearing that this Kunkun's gaze became truly serious, he said, Human. Hunsuk felt a pang of guilt, thinking, did I cross the line? The Red Room wants me to do this, but suddenly, Kunkun burst into a radiant laugh. I like it, human. Hearing this, I scratched my head. It's all thanks to the chief, sir. But a remark about me leading the next hunt made me freeze up. He gave me a thumbs up and said seriously, "To us, leading is the most honorable position. Usually we wouldn't let a rookie take that spot, but you're a special case." Hearing this, I politely declined. "Chief, how could I stand in front of the demon nobles? The other chefs will complain if I lead." Just then, another demon came running over in a panic. "Chief," he asked seriously, "what is it you—" With a look of fear and confusion, he shouted, "Monster invasion!" Strange sounds echoed through the sky. Mr. Kunken looked up and said, "This cry, 'Damn it, a uranium!' is coming." Hunsuk asked, "Are we in danger?" But contrary to the earlier tension, he replied calmly, "Not really, but uranium meat, doesn't taste very good." This left Hunsuk completely helpless. The chief drew his sword and said softly, "Whatever." He raised his blade to the sky and commanded everyone, "Everyone, grab your weapons. Let's add some uranium stew to the dinner menu." Hearing this, Hunsuk smiled smugly behind them. "Delicious. I just need to stay close and land the final blow." At this moment, Jay behind me pushed a surge of power toward me and said loudly, "Take this too." Hunsuk felt his health and strength increase slightly, and he was surprised. This was Rachel, who was very pleased with herself. She reached out to pat my head and said, "Haha, don't thank me." But Hunsuk wasn't grateful at all. Instead, he raised a fist right to her head, scolding her. "You couldn't use that earlier," saying that I pushed her away, causing her pain while I excitedly moved forward, shouting, "Let's go. The final blow is mine." At this moment, I thought to myself, think Choi Hunsuk, the blonde noble lady. Not many, just 5, looking like little rabbits. I excitedly raised my fist full of enthusiasm. Thinking this, I gathered all my strength and jumped high. Believing I would protect my retirement plan without hesitation, I swung my fist into the uranium's neck, causing it immense pain. The system notification rang out, "Uranium defeated. Level up." This left me looking stunned. I wondered, leveling up 4 times with one finishing blow. I figured with this speed, I could reach level 20 today. Finally, I'm getting stronger. Thinking this, my face showed clear excitement. Elsewhere, a demon soldier was standing before a bunch of uranium that had fallen and were extremely weak. He was about to raise his sword to finish one off when Hunsuk lunged from nowhere, shoving his chest. I said as if by accident, "Oops, my elbow slipped." I gave a sinister, smug smile. I became frantic and satisfied, thinking, every final blow in this world is mine. The battle was over. Rachel approached Hunsuk and asked, "Are you done?" But I only replied calmly, "Yeah, nice job." I informed her, "We've killed all the monsters and it looks like they finished butchering them." At this moment, the demon soldiers were happily holding and enjoying delicious pieces of meat. They fought over who got the bigger piece, which made Hunsuk feel alienated and disgusted. A hand, slapped his shoulder. "Hey, Choi Hunsuk." The chief, holding a piece of meat and chewing noisily, asked, "What are you looking at?" I jumped startled and asked him, "Chief, are they allowed to eat army rations like that?" He calmly explained, "Don't you know that's the privilege of the chefs? Monster meat tastes worse after a while." He looked at me and continued, "Do you think soldiers like us can eat fresh meat whenever we want? Delicious meat is the reason I want to live like this." Hearing this, my face showed clear confusion. Privileged, they would die for this. No labor. The chief didn't seem to sense my mood and continued holding the meat toward me, inviting me, "Eat up, Hunsuk. You fought like a warrior. You have the right to—" Eating the meat, looking at the piece in front of him, he couldn't hide his hesitation and doubt. He gathered all his courage and took a bite. He could taste it. The meat wasn't bad, just a strong, pungent smell. "I can actually taste it," he thought. "But it's bland and so tough. If this were sold in Korea, it wouldn't last a day." As he spoke, he looked over at the group of demons fighting over the meat. He thought to himself, "They're risking their lives for this bland piece of meat." Suddenly, an idea popped into his head. "I can control them through their stomachs. I'll be the god of cooking." But right then, Jay's voice rang out. "Are you listening?" He ignored her, though, and began his plan opening the hero store. This surprised Jay immensely. The book opened. He thought to himself, "I still have 70 points left after buying the toy for Bobo. I'll spend it all on this skill and this item." His face showed clear satisfaction. A blue light emanated from his palm. Rachel couldn't help but get angry. "What are you buying?" But he ignored her entirely, thinking, "I'll show you idiots, you stupid demons." By then, he was holding a bottle of seasoning, MSG, which cost him 20 points. He was proud that he had bought what he called the pinnacle of Korean cuisine. Jay was extremely surprised by his decision. She angrily questioned him. "Salt, do you have points to burn or something?" But he remained unfazed by her questioning, scratching his head as he explained, "Come on, don't be so narrow-minded." Saying that he sprinkled the MSG onto the meat, explaining as he did it, "Just watch, seeing is believing. That thing will let you taste the pure flavor on your tongue." He excitedly carried out his plan, sprinkling the seasoning evenly over the pre-grilled meat. He looked at the fragrant golden brown meat, proudly exclaiming, "Done, juicy, aromatic, and perfectly cooked." He looked at his creation with excitement, feeling proud, believing he was the god of this new world. Excitedly, he brought the grilled meat before the head chef Kunkan, respectfully offering it. "Chef, please try this piece of meat." This surprised the man quite a bit. Hunsuk was so earnest, he bowed 90 degrees, but the chef refused, saying, "Thanks, but I'm a bit full right now. How about later?" But he didn't give up, continuing to persuade him. "I put a lot of heart into this. If the great Kunkan tries it, I'll have no regrets even if I die." Hearing such desperate pleas, he reluctantly tasted a piece. He said, "All right, let me try a bite." As soon as he put the meat in his mouth, he felt it. This taste. He remembered back in the day when he was a child, he was quite introverted. When he became a teenager, his mother would always say to him, "Little Kunkan, do you want to eat some meat tonight?" He recalled the taste of his mother's cooking and his own introverted personality in the past. Thinking of this, tears began to fall. After eating Hunsuk's meat, Kunkan felt refreshed. He gave him a giant bag of meat to take back. Before he left, he even instructed, "The food will stay fresh for up to 2 more days. If you need more, just come see me." This made him extremely smug, and he sincerely replied, "Thank you, chef." Inside Bobo's house, Hunsuk walked in slowly. He poked his head in, calling out excitedly, "Bobo!" From inside the house, Bobo rushed out happily, running straight toward him. He wasn't angry at all. In fact, he looked extremely happy. Bobo snatched a piece of meat from his hand, but he playfully teased him by holding onto it, which made the dog angry. He happily told the animal, "Eat as much as you want. Let's go, buddy. Now you're practically a dog master, too." He watched Bobo devouring the delicious pieces of meat, promising, "If you like it, I'll bring more tomorrow." Hearing this, Bobo looked at him with sparkling eyes, his face unable to hide his joy. At this moment, the system also chimed with a notification. Bobo's affection level has increased. Affection level has met the target. Hero quest complete. You have received 200 hero points. Receiving this notification, Hunsuk's face couldn't hide his joy and smugness. He clenched his fist, thinking to himself, "Just as planned, finally." Rachel appeared from behind, surprised, asking, "You finished the quest?" Hunsuk happily replied, "Yeah, I feel more confident now," saying that he pointed to the notification board. Jay happily said, "Now you've got a bunch of bonus points." Rachel continued to ask, "Has that increased your stats yet?" "You haven't used them." He replied calmly, "Why would I dare to use them without knowing what they do?" In his head, he couldn't help but regret wasting 22 points of his life, saying that he shot daggers at her with his eyes, saying, "Isn't it because some idiot skipped the tutorial?" Hearing this, Jay's face couldn't hide her embarrassment. She shyly explained, "It can still be done." Immediately, she took action. "Okay, here is the explanation from the guide Jay for you. You can use bonus points on 4 basic stats: strength, stamina, agility, and mana. Strength increases raw power. Stamina increases endurance and durability. Agility increases reaction speed and movement speed. And as for mana, as you'd expect, that's magic." But Hunsuk was still curious. What's charm? Hearing this, she replied, That's a hidden stat, so you can't level it up with bonus points. It can only be increased through proper training. Saying that, she concluded, Simply put, just level them all up evenly. Hearing that, he rubbed his chin, confused, and asked back, Is that so? Usually leveling strength is better, right? This question seemed to displease her, and she replied immediately, What? At the beginning, maybe, but toward the end, mana is very important. Obviously, a body reinforced by mana is stronger than a body full of bulging muscles. This statement from Jay made him ponder. He asked, So should I do it like this? Saying that, he pointed to the status screen showing his stats, strength 23, agility 40, stamina 34, mana 36. Jay saw this and expressed approval. Not bad. She continued to request, Now go into the store and buy basic mana control. Hearing this, he looked confused. What is mana control? She patiently explained. It's simply teaching you how to manipulate mana. It probably costs about 100 hero points. Let's see, basic mana control. But Hunsuk didn't seem to agree. He directly interrupted. There isn't one. This made Rachel extremely angry. She persuaded him, No way. This is a common item in the store. But he still didn't care. He thought, I even thought she might be useful in the end. Why is she so useless? He even thought to himself, This is unbelievable. Rachel angrily retorted, No, I swear it was supposed to be there. 3 weeks later, Hunsuk lay exhausted on the ground, sighing, Finally level 100. That took more time than I thought. Jay was right next to him. Finally, I can move. Here's how it works, Jaicho explained. You can put points into 4 basic stats, strength, stamina, agility, and mana. Strength increases raw power, stamina boosts durability and endurance, while agility improves your reaction time and speed. And mana, well, it's just magic. But Hyunsuk was puzzled. What about charisma? She replied, That's a hidden stat. You can't level it up with points, only through proper training. She concluded, Simply put, just level them up evenly. Hyunsuk rubbed his chin, confused. Really? Usually dumping points into strength is better, right? This annoyed her. What may be at first, but later on, mana is crucial. Obviously, a body fortified by mana is much stronger than just bulging muscles. Her words made him think. So, should I do this? He asked, pointing to his status screen. Strength, 23. Agility, 40. Stamina, 34. Mana, 36. Jaicho nodded in approval. Not bad. She continued. Now go to the shop and buy basic mana control. Hyunseok looked confused. Mana control? What even is that? She patiently explained. It just teaches you how to manipulate your mana. It should be about 100 hero points. He checked the shop but didn't seem convinced. He cut her off. There's nothing here. This made Rachel furious. That's impossible, she insisted. It's a standard item in the shop. But he didn't care. I thought you were supposed to be useful. Why are you so useless? He thought to himself. I truly can't believe this, Rachel argued, fuming. No, I swear it was supposed to be there. 3 weeks later, a dead, tired Hyunsuk lay flat on the arena floor. Finally reached level 100. That took way longer than I thought, he groaned. Beside him, Rachel. Acting as if he agrees, he notes that the experience points required to level up are increasing, and looking at his improved stats, he says proudly, There's no hero as diligent as me. Are they all just like me? But Vacho mocks him. What are you talking about? You're already a slacker. Hearing that, he gets annoyed and slams his hand hard on the floor, pinning her down. He yells in anger. Do you have any idea how many times I almost died today? Vacho squeals in pain. But it usually takes half a year to even reach level 100. At this moment, Vacho was pinned down flat. She defends herself. I just wanted to be friendly. Hunsuk ignores her, saying, You get what you give. Suddenly, the door bursts open and a demonkin enters to report. Hey, Trainer Choi Hunsuk, the commander wants to see you. Get ready. In Hamish's office, she sits perched on her chair and says to Hunsuk, Welcome back, Choi Hunsuk. You look better than the last time we met." She smiles seductively at him, praising him. "You've gotten stronger too. Your mana seems to have doubled." At her words, he beams and replies, "Wow, have been trying my best to feed Bobo the highest quality meat every day." Hamish continues, not stopping. "But you are growing stronger too quickly." She questions, "Is it thanks to the hero leveling system?" Hearing this, he jumps in shock, thinking to himself, "Since when did she know I'm a hero?" Hamish seems to have guessed his mood and says, "I've known since we first met." This makes him even more confused. "Huh, but how?" She reassures him. "Don't be so surprised. I know you have an interest in researching heroes." At this point, she laughs and continues, "Now worry about yourself. Why do you think I called you here?" He stands opposite her, trembling incessantly. He wonders if it's about Bobo's training or the upcoming battle. He clenches his fists, hesitantly guessing, is it because of this time? Going to the battlefield. She doesn't answer immediately, but says, "Right, do you remember our promise?" Hearing that, he flashes a confident smile and replies, "Of course, Hamish." She smiles even wider and responds, "Oh, is that so? Why are you like that?" She says then. "Balfa." She transforms into a monster, opening her mouth wide toward him, leaving him completely shaken. She yells furiously, "I knew you were a hero a long time ago. You think I don't know about you? Half leveling up so fast," she continues. "Work harder if you don't want to die. This is because it makes me happy. Remember that." Saying this, he clutches his chest in pain. She continues to grill him. "What do you think the audience finds most exciting, bloody performances? Or an overwhelming victory? No. It's when there's a variable." Back in his room, he sinks into deep thought. That monster probably thinks the same. He gets lost in thought. She chose one I have, no chance of defeating, and wants me to be the underdog. She's already on guard. Suddenly, Vacho interrupts his train of thought, asking seriously, "So what are you going to do? Am I going to die?" He grumbles and grits his teeth, continuing, "Stay calm, Vacho, let me think." He explains, "It's better to know your opponent before the day of the battle. Have to learn how strong it is." But she doesn't agree. She's anxious, saying, "But I only know its name. How can you possibly recognize it?" He doesn't answer, but taps his screen and says, "There is an item that I want to buy in the hero shop." Ignoring Vacho's surprise, he decides to order it. He takes the glasses and says, "It's called a combat power meter." The screen displays the specific information of the item. She stares at the glasses in surprise, exclaiming, "Whoa, a power meter." He agrees, "Yeah, use it to measure power levels. Then train by fighting a chieftain with similar strength, just like those experts." Hearing this, she can only sigh and complain. Always doing things so fast, he hears her and sticks his tongue out, mocking her. Still better than being useless. Saying that, he looks through the lens toward Vacho and notices she is at level 375. He comments, "I don't know if this is high or low. Should we measure ourselves too?" Vacho tries to grab the glasses, but Hunsuk pulls them away, ordering, "Give it here." Relying on his larger build, he quickly snatches the glasses, making her look annoyed. But at that moment, he looks surprised. He wonders, "What's wrong? Can't see anything." Hearing this, Vacho's face contorts. Trembling, she says, No. I think it's broken. Otherwise, how could you be stronger than me?" Vacho sees Hunsuk's power displayed as 1,560 and shrieks, "Wait, why are you so surprised? Are you sure you aren't the weak one?" Stung by Hunsuk's jab, Vacho collapses. 10,000 years ago I was strong too, you know." He ignores her and puts the glasses on. "Whatever, so it works right. Let's see how strong our Bobo is," Hunsuk says and looks toward it, seeing his pet chewing on a bone, playing innocently, yet having a power level of up to 47,422. Hunsuk stammers, 47,422. "We're even weaker than a dog. Did that dog take drugs?" A while later, the three of them go out to the streets to scout. "Now, let's check the levels of the others." He glances at some creatures that look weak, like goblins. The strongest has a power of 1,620, the weakest 231. He sighs. Most of them are the same level as me. Suddenly, a goblin commander glides past. He breaks into a cold sweat when he sees the power stat is 14,300. The Pokemon commander is here. They pay their respects. Those with stats over 10,000 are at least commander level. Hunsuk turns to ask Vacho. She says, "My opponent will be a commander of a squad, right?" "That's right. His name is Kurt Ken. I heard he's a pig-brained idiot. A squad commander probably only has 3,000 power, so maybe I still have a chance." "That pig-brained idiot. This is him." Hunsuk adjusts his glasses and looks toward the raging monster. Kurt Ken cleared out the training ground and his power stat is displayed on the lens as 6,671. His eyes look like they're about to pop out. 6,000. Wow, that's surprising. Well, you're definitely dead. Suddenly, the system board appears. Damn, Hero Quest. Your chance of winning against that pig is almost zero. But your strength is not giving up hope in the most dire situations, right? That's why you're given a second chance. Increase your strength by 3,000 in 1 week. Reward 300 hero points. Hey, this quest appears right on time. Is it monitoring me? Well, since I've already fired the arrow, I have to follow through. Fine, do it or die. Keep watching, Hamish. No matter who it is, I'll give it my all. I will definitely survive. The next morning in the kitchen, he rushes in. I'm here. Come in, Hunsuk. Konkon immediately notices something new on his head. That's a stylish-looking item. Where did you get that from? Oh, I saw everyone else wearing it, so I just bought one too. Unbelievable. Konkon sighs. Is this what the younger generation is into these days? Ugh, never mind. Quick, get ready for the hunt. Yes, sir. Hunsuk pulls down his glasses as he tries not to let him notice. He checks the power level, 35,230. Why is it so high? That's the strength of a regular general. He is extremely shocked and glances around. No, it's not just him. I'm starting to get suspicious. Every chef here has a higher power level. Instead of fighting monsters, I'm looking at the weakest one, 1,969, and the strongest is 2,620. If I can train with someone as strong as Konkon, I might be able to sense his level. Hunsuk thinks, then acts. He bows deeply. Sir Konkon, please allow me to spar with a chef. Yes, I want to help you out after learning a thing or two more. Seeing Hunsuk's sincere expression, Konkon hesitates. That's a bit of a hassle, isn't it? Hunsuk, you're already strong enough compared to a human. No need to rush. Hearing him say that, Hunsuk's attitude does a complete 180. If you won't allow it, I'll eat all of today's meat by myself. Seeing him about to leave, Konkon reaches out to stop him. Wait, I've been waiting for someone like you. Who do you want to spar with? A moment later, the goblins in the kitchen start whispering. What's going on? It's nowhere near hunting time yet. What, Choi Hunsuk wants to spar with Gunba-sam? Does that mean he's going to die today? I can't live without his meat. Looking at the massive build of Gunba-sam, who has a strength of 2,620, Hunsuk refuses to back down. The other goblins see the situation isn't good and whisper to each other. Should we kill Gunba-sam first? Konkon overhears them and curses. Shut up, you idiots. He walks up to the guy and instructs him. You understand, right, Gunba-sam? Try not to kill him. Don't overdo it, just put on a show. The guy responds with a blank, goofy look. Gunba-sam understands. As the two enter the ring, Konkon coughs. All right, let's start. Ready, positions, start. At his shout, Hunsuk opens his eyes wide and observes carefully. Meanwhile, Gunba-sam is casually muttering to himself. Don't kill, Hunsuk. Hunsuk makes the first move. He yells and lunges forward, but a punch whizzes past him. He dodges it and concludes, this guy's punches are purely based on instinct. Hunsuk smiles confidently and spins around to land a kick. But do you know how many battles I've had like this? Hunsuk's foot lands square on Gunba-sam's face. I've won plenty. One kick from him distorts the guy's face, causing him to collapse on the spot. Konkon is shocked and stammers as he announces the unbelievable result. Choi Hunsuk wins. What, Gunba-sam lost? What happened? It was so fast I didn't. He is stunned. He went down with just one simple punch. If that's the case, I have a chance at winning. Scene change in the northern part of the Black Forest. The goblins and Hunsuk are gathered here. I took down a guy with twice my stats with just one simple kick. Hunsuk can't help but feel smug. Those power level numbers are just symbolic. If I'm just a bit stronger, I can easily win the battle. Suddenly, a goblin comes to report. Kunken chef? A large number of Talas have appeared ahead. Really? So that's Talas territory. What a pain, Hunsuk wonders. Why does Talas meat not taste good? No, their meat isn't bad and their bones make good stew, but they live in packs, and they have an extremely strong protective instinct. So if you dare to touch their young, you're dead meat. Hearing Kunken's lesson, he scratches his head. Oh, so I guess today's hunt is over. Kunken dismisses that. But the meat is delicious, just hunt them anyway. The very next second, he pulls a giant meat cleaver from out of nowhere and smiles brightly. Everyone charge today, our meal will be Talas meat. The goblins follow Kunken's order and charge. Ah, Talas meat. Don't let a single one escape, kill them all. Not a single one is allowed to get away. The Talas see the fierce appearance of their opponents and tremble. Who would have thought Hunsuk isn't afraid of strong opponents, only stupid teammates? He yells at his team, "Hey, why are you blocking my way?" He smirks. So many experience points today. The finishing blow will be mine. After a while, 2 mountains of skulls have gradually formed. The more he fights, the more excited he gets. Hunsuk is thrilled when he hears the level up notification from the system. He targets the last one and stomps on it. Rachel sees this and can't help but praise him. You're really good at stealing the finishing blow, Hirofi. I know, right? That's why I like working in the kitchen. Suddenly, the ground shakes. He turns around stunned. What the hell? Some goblin screams. It's here, the Talas Queen. A massive skull arrives surrounded by poisonous gas. The monster female inside the head stares with golden eyes, seeing its kin lying dead in a pile. It grinds its teeth in anger. Hunsuk hurriedly pulls down his glasses to check this one. How strong is it that everyone is panicking? He gulps. It's a power level that can't be measured. Warning. Hunsuk flinches a bit, turns around, and shouts at Kunkan. Chef, what do we do? To his surprise, what he sees is the old man running for his life. What the hell, save yourselves. See you later. That irresponsible guy. Suddenly a piercing scream hits Hunsuk's ears. He turns to defend himself and yells, Spread out. A bloody hand reaches out weakly. Where's the chef? The Talas Queen has now lost control, blinded by hatred. It shrieks. Its cry is both painful and resentful, making Hunsuk's brain ache and ears ring. He clutches his ears. What kind of spider is this big and soft? Sensing a killing intent, Rachel shouted a warning. Hero, look out! As he spun around, he saw the Alpha Talas leading a swarm charging straight toward him. Hunsuk scrambled to keep up with the pack running for his life. He pushed himself to the limit, his heart pounding as he heard the goblins' piercing screams behind him. He didn't dare slow down. If I stop for even a second, I'm dead. Gotta save myself. After splitting off from the group, he stopped gasping for air in front of a pitch-black cave. A cave out here, is it even safe? He peered inside. It looked empty. Wait, didn't I just check for monsters, man? Why is there a cave here? Hunsuk hesitated, unsure if he should go in. Honestly, it didn't look trustworthy at all. Still, it was safer than running around like a headless chicken in the woods. He decided to go in, glancing nervously at his surroundings. It's deep. A natural cave. Who knows what's in there? The ceiling was high too. Retro flew behind him, whispering, I hope there aren't any spiders in here. He had to be careful. Suddenly, a blob of green slime on the cave wall caught his eye. Wait, don't tell me. He shook his head frantically, trying to deny it. No way. The chef said there weren't any spiders around here. Hunsuk reached out curious and touched the slime. I've seen this before. Wait, is this spider silk? A terrifying realization flashed through his mind. If that's the case, then... Hunsuk looked up at the cave ceiling. It was covered in webs and eggs. Is this Seriously, a spider's nest? His voice trembled. This is bad. Really bad. We have to leave now. But before he could finish, a claw swiped at him. The alpha talus had caught up, attacking relentlessly to avenge its dead young. Retro shrieked, "The alpha talus is here! I can see that, you idiot!" The two of them scrambled back toward the exit. "We have to get out of here fast." "This place! It's too dangerous, we can't stay here." Suddenly something felt lumpy under Hunsuk's foot. He must have stepped on something. It tripped him up and Hunsuk went crashing to the ground. "What the hell is this?" As he fell, not caring about anything else, he grabbed whatever was in reach to use as a weapon. He threw it hard at the alpha talus. "Get lost, back off." The egg flew straight at the monster, but strangely it caught the egg and stopped dead in its tracks. Hunsuk was stunned. What the it stopped attacking? Did that thing actually distract it? I don't get it. He turned to ask Jaichu, "Why is it acting like that?" She replied, "It seems to like what you threw. It's round, sticky. Looks like a talus spider egg." He jumped back, staring at the slimy pile, licking his lips. Hunsuk cracked a grin. "So that's how it is." He grabbed another egg, pointed it at the alpha talus, and threatened, "That's enough, you crazy spider." It actually worked. The alpha talus trembled as it looked at him. "Aha. All right. Hunsuk went into a pitcher's windup. "Here comes the heat." The egg whizzed through the air. The alpha talus, terrified, chased after it and caught it in its hands. "Whoa, your catch is insane, buddy." Retro flew beside him, impressed. "That's got to be the beast's instincts. Niswan Choi Hunsuk. What now?" He smirked. "What other choice is there?" The look on Hunsuk's face was nothing short of a total maniac. "I've still got hundreds of these eggs left." "Oh wait, no. They're all breaking." "That's not good. Looks like you're gonna have to do even better than that." Hearing the smirk in Hunsuk's voice, he turned to Jaichu. "Give me another egg." "What?" "There aren't any left. That was the last one." Her words hit him like a lightning bolt. What? Sure enough, the alpha talus flew into a blind rage. It let out a deafening screech and charged at Hunsuk at breakneck speed. "Hero, the spider's coming, step on it." "Step on it. Go faster." The alpha talus looked like it wanted to tear him to shreds, but it seemed worn out from all that egg catching. "Focus, Choi Hunsuk, you can win this." It roared and launched an attack. Hunsuk didn't wait to die. He activated his ultimate skill, Nirvana Strike. The two forces collided and a shockwave sent rocks and dust flying everywhere. The alpha talus took the full force of the blow and dropped dead on the spot. The system notifications for leveling up started flooding in, making Hunsuk itch with excitement. "So, I won." Rachel crawled out from her hiding spot. "Hero, are you okay?" "Look like I'm okay to you, no. I was stressed out of my mind." Jaichu let out a dry laugh. "Ha ha ha. Let's get out of here fast." Once they reached a temporary safe spot, Jaichu started healing his wounds. "So you're using recovery magic now, huh? I guess investing points in magic was worth it. You're not hurt that bad. Just need to stop the bleeding." Yeah. Let me just add my stat points and we'll get going." He tapped the system screen. He was level 108 now. He boosted his strength, vitality, agility, and magic stats. Looking at his stat sheet, Hunsuk couldn't help but feel proud. "Finally, my magic stat is balanced with the others." He wasn't entirely sure how it would work yet, but this is an investment for the future. Suddenly, someone else appeared deep in the cave. That voice, is that Choi Hunsuk? Tch, so it's Kunkan, the guy who ran away earlier. "Ha ha ha ha. I never thought you'd still be alive." He laughed, slapping Hunsuk on the shoulder. Yeah. What about you, Kunkan? How did you end up here?" When asked, he smugly says he ran for a while and found a cave. "Looks like we both got lucky, right? I've had enough of this guy already. I'll say it straight, this is a talus spider nest." Making him freeze, Kunkan stammers while pointing at those slimy things. "Ah, nest, then all those sticky things are..." "Those are talus eggs, old man. This is their hatchery, so let's get out of here fast." Good grief. Contrary to Hunsuk's expectations, the old man dashes forward. He starts cradling an egg in his hands. "Talus spider eggs, a delicacy the high-ranking elites only dream of right here in front of me. Chef, wake up. We need to get out of here." Your shouting snaps Kunkin back to reality. Hearing that, he couldn't care less. He lifts the egg up to eat it. Whatever's chasing us is probably back at the nest by now anyway. Besides, it takes at least a Legion commander to take down a Talus queen. So let me have one last meal. Suddenly, from that pitch-black cave branch, a sound emerges. Is someone in the other room? Phew, finally escaped. It's two goblins. They're surprised. Whoa, it's the head chef. That's a miracle we barely made it out alive, but let's eat first. Hunsuk looks down at the egg in his hand, suspicious. Is this really going to be my last meal? No. That can't be. A chicken master I barely survived let me eat. Hyunsuk looked suspiciously at the egg in his hand. Is this really my last meal? No, it can't be. I still have to taste the banquet my future wife cooks. I can't let it end so meaninglessly like this. I will escape again, no matter what it takes. In Hamus's office, a voice rings out. Greetings, Commander. Hamus lies sprawled on her chair, smiling seductively. Tsk. Still as stiff and formal as ever. Have you completed your assigned mission? Red June looks at her, answering seriously. Yes, ma'am, I have succeeded. I captured the Saintess-in-Waiting of the Holy Kingdom just as you ordered. Hamus excitedly jumps to her feet. See, I told you Red June was amazing. Getting past that cult in just 3 weeks. Truly impressive. He blushes shyly at her praise. You're too kind, ma'am. Hamus hears a knock at the door and frowns. What is it? You're ruining this wonderful moment. The blue monster reports quickly. Commander, urgent report. An incident occurred while the chefs were gathering ingredients. Hamus speaks in a low voice. Just another day in the office, huh? This time the scale of the incident is quite large. A Talus queen suddenly appeared and now most of the chefs, including head chef Kunkin, are either dead or missing. The two of them are shocked. Oh my god, Red June asks. What about Hunsuk? The blue monster replies, the beastkeeper Hunsuk is also missing. Red June mutters, Hunsuk is missing. Scene change to Hunsuk's location. The group of monsters is eating and drinking to their heart's content. Because of our death, Kunkin looks at them with total satisfaction. Yeah, drink up. I'll see you all in the afterlife, my brave kitchen companions. Hunsuk immediately gives him a shove. Get a grip on yourself. Kunkin looks up, asking, what the hell was that for? Hunsuk says seriously, it seems like you've been bewitched or something, so I just knocked some sense into you with my secret weapon. Item Beast Encyclopedia, Monster Edition. An encyclopedia about monsters containing useful information you'll want to know. Ability contains information on almost all types of monsters. Hero points required 50. System hero. 1 monster. A spider species that lives in colonies possessing exceptionally sturdy legs. To kill a Talus, aim for its relatively weaker parts, especially the torso and head. The fluid from a Talus's body is highly flammable. Even its eggs contain an explosive liquid. Thought like a bomb. The caves created from Talus saliva are highly flammable, so be careful, do not use fire magic inside. Hunsuk closes the book. So I'd like to ask Head Chef Kunkin, can you use fire magic? He reluctantly answers, I can, but only simple spells like shooting fire. Kunkin sighs. Give it up, Hunsuk. Talus shells aren't something that can be easily burned by my magic. He pouts. It doesn't matter, I wasn't planning on burning the Talus. The old man looks at him bewildered. Huh? Hunsuk suddenly yells, all right, everyone listen up, senior chefs. I have an escape plan. He holds the egg up high. We need to survive. Only then can we continue to enjoy things like this, right? Hunsuk smiles and continues. Let's escape. And I, Hunsuk, will provide unlimited precious monster meat portions as a survival celebration. The monsters shout, let's do it. Kunkin puts a hand on his shoulder. You're right, Hunsuk. To enjoy a buffet, we have to survive first. His eyes sparkle as he looks at him. So what's the plan? Hunsuk turns away, thinking I succeeded. He gives strict instructions. Remember the plan. From now on, no one stops no matter what happens. Hunsuk shouts, we have to keep running non-stop until we get outside. Hearing that everyone responds in unison. Understood. He takes the lead and charges out with great momentum. All right, let's move out. Hunsuk looks at the horde of Talus in front of him and screams, a swarm of Talus ahead. He orders, "Chef Kunken, get ready." He grips a fireball and charges. Got it. The fireball is launched with great power. Let's go. A massive explosion occurs quickly. They're bunching up against the wall. What did you do? Hunsuk smirked. Well, if the fire spreads through the cave and it collapses, the rest of the eggs are toast anyway. That's why I purposely left a few deep inside. He looked at the talus and shouted, "Run while they're distracted. Keep moving." The talus were burning, screeching in agony. "Everyone run. Don't look back. We can't stop now. Throw an egg to draw their attention. Focus on survival." Kunken held an egg in his hand. Only one left. "We have to find the exit before we have to use this one." Veo pointed the way for Hunsuk. "Hero over there. There's light." He risked everything sprinting forward. "Everyone this way, that's the exit." Hunsuk was attacked by a talus. He gritted his teeth in pain. Just a little further, just a bit more. Hunsuk's group sprinted toward the light. He cheered, "Light! We're actually saved!" Suddenly he froze. A giant talus stood before him. Kunken gasped, speechless. "The talus queen!" Hunsuk gripped the egg tightly. The queen was furious. Kunken looked at the monster filled with dread. The queen has returned. Is this the end, Hunsuk thought? No. He frowned. The queen didn't attack even though she saw us. There must be a reason. Hunsuk immediately ripped his sleeve and held the egg up high. He shouted a demand. "Head chef, Kunkan, blast this for me, would you?" He turned his head. "Huh, oh, all right," Hunsuk shouted provocatively. "Hey, do you see what this is? This is, your last egg. If it blows up here, everyone dies. If this cave collapses, your children inside will be wiped out too," he asserted. "While I'm still asking nicely, get out of the way. Otherwise, we're all going down together." The talus queen gnashed her teeth in rage. Hunsuk screamed, "Damn it, I said get lost." She lunged to attack them. Retro cried out in fear. "Hero, what do we do now?" He immediately lit the egg and threw it. "Damn it, now even I'm out of ideas." The egg rolled, hitting the rocks, burning fiercely and shaking everything. The blue monsters panicked. "This shaking? Don't tell me." Hunsuk looked up and thought, "The cave is collapsing." He shouted and bolted for the exit. "Everyone get out now." Hunsuk hesitated and looked back. Retro grabbed him. "What are you standing there for? If you don't leave now, everything is going to bury us." Talus were being crushed by falling rocks, screaming as level-up notifications kept popping up. The blast triggered a chain reaction. Hunsuk gave a wry smile, looking back in confusion. "Huh." Hunsuk glanced back, thinking, "No way. All the Talus turned into XP after dying in the collapse." He scratched his head. "Is it because I'm the only one who caused the cave to collapse?" Hunsuk stomped his feet and shouted, "Whatever, let's just get out of here." "Rachel, get me out of here," she retorted. "Finally, you've come to your senses." He used all his strength to sprint forward. "I've escaped that mess. But with the queen in the way, it's hard to escape." Hunsuk had a bold idea. Need to distract the queen. Kunken held the egg up high and yelled, tears streaming down his face and his voice trembling. "I'll give you this egg in exchange for our exit." Hunsuk dodged the Talus queen's attack. Now's the time. He stomped his feet and leaped hard. "I will survive at all cost." The Talus queen sprayed blue fluid after his hit. She used silk to bind Hunsuk's arm. He jumped in shock. "What the spider silk?" Hunsuk gritted his teeth. "Is this really the end for me?" Fredrun suddenly appeared, grabbing the spider's leg. He asked with concern, "Are you all right, Choi Hunsuk?" He was surprised. "Fredrun." He smiled and replied, "I knew you'd survive." Redroom shouted, "Let's go!" He used his strength to pull the Spider Queen's leg and snapped it. Hunsuk looked at the scene amazed. Wow, incredible. The Demon King's kitchen army total of 105-69 are alive, 36 dead or missing, including head chef Kunken. At the Black Castle in Bobo's room, Bobo jumped onto Hunsuk, clinging to him non-stop. He happily said, "Come on now, I just returned from the gates of death to see you." Fredrun heard this and reluctantly replied, "We only made it back thanks to that Oxman." Hunsuk laughed. "You should enjoy it. We might get assassinated again soon." She exclaimed, "Huh? Why?" He quickly explained, Well, the final stage isn't that far from us. Rachel wondered, but you're much stronger now, aren't you? Hunsuk nodded. True with all those cave collapses. I leveled up 75 times in one go. The system board showed his info. Name Choi Hunsuk. Job apprentice hero. Level 200. Strength 80. Agility 77. Stamina 80. Mana 78. Willpower 27. Combat ability C. Leadership E. Cooking F. Bonus. Stat points 0. Hero points 200. Hunsuk said calmly. I've reached level 200. Fredrin frowned thoughtfully. Still feels a bit lacking, don't you think? He glanced over. You think so too? The opponent has over 6,000 combat power. I only have about 3,500. She immediately blurted out, there's a catch. If you have 6,000 combat power, you'd be as strong as Oksao. Hunsuk rested his chin on his hand. That doesn't just depend on combat power. Rachel quickly asserted, exactly. True power isn't just physical strength, it's magic too. If you want to face the enemy, you have to be good at using magic. He sighed. Easy for you to say, but reality is far different. Retro added, but you already have experience using magic, don't you? Did I misremember? Actually, I have to admit that was too faint to even call magic. Hunsuk wondered. Me when? Back at Talus Cave. You said hanging your head in thought. The terrifying power I felt back then. Was that magic? The door suddenly opened and Red June walked in saying, Hunsuk, are you in there? Both of them were surprised and said in unison, Red June, you looked at him and scratched your head. Oh man, why would you come to a dump like this? Red June said sternly, come with me. We're going to see the commander. In Hermes' office, Hermes smiled as he looked at the three of them. Why did you come here, Zadrin, and alone? That's not like you at all. He replied seriously. Commander, please let me personally teach Hunsuk military strategy. You were taken aback when you heard that. Hermes found it interesting and smiled. Any reason for that? Red June slowly explained. Awkward Ken is the platoon leader, but recently I've seen him in a different light. I believe he's very fit for the position of deputy battalion commander. If things keep going like this, Hunsuk will definitely lose. Red June suddenly asserted, he is someone with potential. I want to see what Hunsuk's future holds. Commander! You were startled hearing that. Why would he just spill it out like that? Surely the commander wouldn't accept. Hermes, full of excitement, accepted the request. Fine. Red June replied. Thank you, sir. She stretched. If you're done, then go. I still have things to do. Hunsuk stammered, closing the door. Truly thank you for your generosity, Commander. We ask permission to leave first. Hermes happily looked at you. Hunsuk, you've become twice as strong since we last met. She smiled. Meeting a creature that progresses so fast is truly interesting. But that also makes me a bit annoyed. Hermes stood up. If Zadrin helps Hunsuk, who knows, good Ken might actually lose. Her voice became menacing. I should also bestow something to good Ken to make the match fairer. At the training ground, Red June introduced, this is my personal training area. Hunsuk looked around in awe, thinking to himself, the whole place just for me. Hermes must really spoil him. He remained silent, turning his head to look at Hunsuk. Red June thought to himself, there is a massive amount of mana inside Hunsuk's body, but he still doesn't know how to use it. He's getting stronger too fast. The best way is to teach him the basics. But the match is in 4 days, there's not enough time left. There's only one way. Red June quickly threw a punch at Hunsuk. Pain is also a part of getting stronger. You were surprised. What? He said in a deep voice. Hunsuk, focus. Immediately you were punched by Zadrin, sending you flying far away. Hunsuk frowned, thinking, is he crazy? Why would he hit me right after saying he'd train me? Red June kept unleashing attacks. Focus, you will die if you don't block it with your mana. Hunsuk quickly put his hands in front of his face. Wait. Red June kept attacking, making you struggle immensely. Hunsuk was pushed far away by him. Red June looked at you and thought to himself, strange. His physique is nothing special, but his reflexes and perception are on par with veteran knights. He observed very carefully and concluded, his soul is truly different. It's not a coincidence. I couldn't dodge Hunsuk's kick. His battle instincts are truly incredible. I believe in his instincts. Red June shouted, you went through so much for the commander. You can't take down Cutton without mana. Then it's better to die here. After saying that, he gathered energy, disson into his lungs, and blew out a long, powerful breath. It pierced through Hunsuk. Instead of dying in front of everyone, Hunsuk frowned, struggling as he thought, he's not joking. I'm going to die. If I take one more hit, I haven't even gotten a wife yet. I haven't even had kids yet. Red June immediately moved towards Hunsuk and shouted his name, block it or die. You also quickly clenched your fist and charged forward. Your fist tore through the air, creating a shockwave as it reached out. Oh God, please. The power of both made the ground crack. You were punched until you lay flat on the ground. Rachel appeared and called out loudly, hero, hero. Kunkan came up in front of you. He looked at Hunsuk and asked with concern, did you control the mana? Did you notice it? You reached out your trembling hand. Hunsuk's face was full of fulfillment. God has answered my prayers. Red June grabbed your arm and replied, good, you will win if it stays like this. He squeezed your hand tight. Lie still, I will heal you. Suddenly something made you wince, your eyes widening. Hunsuk screamed and grabbed his neck. You coughed up blood. Red June suddenly froze. I forgot. Hakmana is poison to humans. I forgot Hunsuk is a human. He quickly picked Hunsuk up. I'm sorry, Hunsuk. Just hold on a little longer. There are countless powers that created this world. Dark magic is stronger than ordinary magic. Magic is stronger than holy power, and holy power is stronger than dark magic. Magic belongs to humans, dark magic belongs to demons, and holy power is for those who serve the divine. The Tusis Cathedral, the largest religious organization, launched a religious war and brought all other religions under their control. They became the Holy Kingdom of Gotrin. Gatrin chooses people who can hear divine revelations and makes them the saintess. Outside the room, Marriott heard whispers. It's rumored that the successor saintess is locked in that room. Is it true? The white-haired girl in the room is indeed the Holy Kingdom's successor saintess captured by the Demon Legion. Marriott the elves outside the door kept whispering. She doesn't pray at all day long. Is she really a saintess? But there's no way Sir Zadrin could be wrong. She bowed her head to pray. Why, praying to the gods is useless, isn't it? Marriott thought to herself. This is better. This is better. At the cathedral door, Zadrin suddenly carried Hunsuk and burst in. Saintess, wake up! She looked at him and blurted out, How rude! What do you think you're doing? Red June said sternly. You need to heal this human. Hunsuk fell into a pitch-black void. My head hurts. What did he do to me? You thought indifferently. No way. The arm I'm holding onto ended up being his arm. It should at least be Zadrin's arm. Hunsuk slowly opened his eyes. Huh, who's this? A beautiful silver-haired person. Maybe I died somewhere. I really thought I could do something different this time. You hugged your face and sobbed. I will never forget you, Angel. I'd rather be a grand mage at the age of 30 than this. This is wrong. So wrong. And please take Zadrin to this hell. He buried his face in his hands and whimpered. I'll never forget you, Angel. I'd rather be a great mage at age 30 than go through this. This is all wrong. Someone send Jaicho to hell already. Hunsuk kept muttering that she was a devil in an angel's mask. Marriott looked at him and thought, what a lunatic. He kept talking and, I have one wish before I'm reborn. If you intend to turn me into a hero again, could you marry me before that? Marriott frowned. For heaven's sake, you are truly pathetic. Hearing that, Hunsuk jolted awake. Red June grabbed his shirt in joy and called his name. You're finally awake. Hunsuk winced. Ugh. She hugged him tightly. Hunsuk gasped. You're going to kill me again. He wondered. Wait, why didn't I die? Hunsuk glanced over at Marriott. So that was real. Did I really say all that in front of her? Red June looked at the saintess and asked sternly, Is he completely recovered? Marriott replied coldly, Not exactly. You should have noticed by now. The dark mana still hasn't left his body. She looked at Hunsuk and continued, I don't know what will happen to him next. Red June asked, Can't you purge the dark mana with holy power? Marriott explained slowly, He will die if anything goes wrong. The dark mana will fade over time, so just wait. Red June looked at him and said, I'm sorry, Hunsuk. I'll make it up to you with more training. Let's get back to it. Hunsuk replied, trembling, You don't need to do that for someone as lowly as me. She dragged him away. Wait, Marriott called out. A human being trained by a demon. Who is he? Hunsuk was being pulled along by Bobo. Thanks, Bobo. I heard you destroyed the house and ate the soldiers who brought me food. Thank you so much, he said helplessly. If I didn't have to worry about being away from you, I'd probably still be training. So much has happened to me today. Tears welled up in Hunsuk's eyes. There's still too much dark mana inside me. He slowly sat up. This is a big problem, isn't it? Am I going to die, Rachel? Hunsuk glanced to the side and called out to Rachel. She sat on the ground and sobbed. Ruined. Everything is ruined. My hero isn't the same anymore. Hunsuk was confused. Why are you crying? I'm the one who really wants to cry here. Rachel wiped her tears, pouting, Forget it. It's all my fault. The dark mana in your body and that near-death experience. It's all because of me. A devil in an angel's mask and a madwoman who deserves to suffer in eternal hell. Hunsuk said gently to soothe her, Hey, I was just joking. Where would I ever find another person like you? Rachel yelled, Shut up. I know you don't mean any of it. I can't take this anymore. Hunsuk smiled wryly. Oh man, how am I supposed to calm her down? I'm going to go crazy. 3 days later, Marriott looked at him and said, Once you finish training, I will heal your wounds. Hunsuk laughed with tears in his eyes. You're as beautiful as always. She frowned. Good grief. He immediately replied, I'm sorry, Marriott. As she used her holy power to heal him, Hunsuk stammered a request. I have one favor to ask before tomorrow's battle. He scratched his head. Could you pray that I don't die tomorrow? No. And if you don't mind, could you come and watch me fight? Hearing that, Marriott looked surprised. At the match the next day, the announcer's voice drowned everything out. Welcome, you demons. The commentary by Hamish echoed constantly. A human dares to fight. For the position of commander. How stupid. You are nothing but a human. The announcer's voice rang out again. I am Raz, your host for this tournament to decide the new commander. Hamish laughed excitedly. I love this atmosphere. Who do you think will win, Red June? She replied in a low voice. Hunsuk. He has given his all and his talent is truly extraordinary. She looked at Red June and made a proposal. So do you want to make a bet? If Hunsuk wins, you can continue training him. Red June asked. What if he loses? Hamish replied. I thought you said he would win. Her smile became sinister. Then you must kill him with your own hands. That is the responsibility you must bear for your words. He clenched his fist on the chair. Understood. Then Hamish laughed with satisfaction. Good. It's been a long time since I felt this excited. The announcer's voice echoed. Now introducing today's contestants. A human dares to challenge. For the position of Commander Choi Hunsuk. He frowned. My condition is at its peak. I'm not worried at all. The announcer shouted his name. Choi Hunsuk walked onto the stage with a confident demeanor. I have a new skill and a trait. I am much stronger than I was before. New skill combat style, Red June. Martial arts trained by Red June based on the Cauldron dueling arts passed down through the Cauldron family, consisting of 10 different forms. Proficiency level. 8%. Hunsuk laughed wryly. The proficiency level is a bit low. Marriott from the stands looked down at Hunsuk and thought, I hope he'll be all right. I have to win this match. And go on a date with the silver-haired saintess. Rachel immediately blurted out, Hero, what on earth are you thinking? The announcer's voice boomed. The one who will punish Choi Hunsuk's arrogance. Contestant cut. Ken. Rachel was shocked. What is this? Hunsuk frowned. He looks a bit different than before. Rachel stood up abruptly. It's him. Hamish laughed. Now you can't back down anymore. Kurt Kane quickly proved his overwhelming strength. Hunsuk, wearing his glasses, gritted his teeth. His combat level climbed over 10,000 in just a few days, V exclaimed in utter shock. That red-lipped monster definitely did something. He clenched his fists. Of course, nothing is ever easy. The battle has started and I have to make this work. The fight began. Hunsuk lunged forward with all his might. Kurt Kane raised his hammer high. Hunsuk thought to himself, just one hit from that hammer and I'm dead. Hunsuk quickly dodged and weaved out of the way. But his movements are so wide and predictable. I just need to stay calm and keep dodging. He leapt forward and threw a punch straight at his face. Time to find an opening. The announcer's voice boomed immediately. A direct hit. That's gotta hurt even for Kurt Kane. Hunsuk clenched his fist and shouted, here's another one. His punch landed square on Kurt Kane's face. The monster growled. Hunsuk was bewildered. He hadn't even flinched. He quickly spun around. Wait! The hammer came crashing toward him. Hunsuk scrambled back. Just from that one hit, his left arm was broken. He stared at the giant monster in front of him, and then he moved. Hunsuk watched Kurt Kane rushing toward him and analyzed. He seems standard, and his movements are still easy to read. He planted his feet firmly. I've endured worse hits than this. Don't be afraid. Just remember what you've learned. Hunsuk recalled the times he and Jae-jun trained together. Martial arts is the fusion of mana and combat technique. That's how someone can shatter the ground or crush with a boulder with just one punch. But martial arts isn't just about raw power. The most important part is, martial arts is a technique to destroy your opponent, Jae-jun emphasized. I don't know where you learned to fight, but you can't beat Kurt Kane with that. You have no killing intent, Hunsuk. Every word hit him hard. No intent to kill. Clearly, your attacks are meaningless. Hunsuk snapped back to reality. Now I remember. The most important part. He focused his breathing and power into his fist and charged with the intent to kill anyone standing in front of him. Hunsuk's power exploded. He screamed, "Die!" His punch was so powerful that it made the skin and flesh on Kurt Kane's face warp in agonizing pain. Martial arts Jae-jun style. First form. Instant annihilation. A deafening sound erupted. The announcer was stunned. The stage was filled with dust. Marriott gasped. Who won? Kurt Kane lay on the ground with a massive hole blown through his stomach. The winner today is the underdog Choi Hunsuk. He raised his hand, claiming victory. Hunsuk was shocked by his own strength. This damn skill. It'll kill me if I use it a second time. Rachel flew around him joyfully. You did it. You punched a hole right through his heart. Hunsuk slowly sat up. Did I really win? In front of him, Kurt Kane's body parts began to knit back together. No way. Kurt Kane was still standing. The announcer's voice rang out, leaving Hunsuk in shock. It's a miracle. Hunsuk's gaze shifted. It seemed he had realized something. The commander definitely cheated. Zekken looked at Hemis with a puzzled expression. She shared her mana with Kurt Kane and cast an indestructible curse on him. What is she thinking? Hemis seemed to guess Zekken's thoughts. He mastered close-quarters combat in such a short time. His talent is truly extraordinary, but I had already predicted this. Hunsuk. Surprised by the scene, he whispered, He's still alive. Zekken spoke up. No, he's only moving because of the curse. The curse won't last much longer. With the power of the curse, Kurt Kane charged forward fiercely toward Hunsuk. Hunsuk stood in a ready stance. That attack again. This is too easy. Suddenly Hunsuk froze. He was grabbed. Kurt Kane squeezed his throat. Hunsuk quickly grabbed his arm. Die! He used all his strength to rip his arm away. Hunsuk gritted his teeth. All right then. Kurt Kane's eyes flashed. He swung his arm and sent Hunsuk flying. The immense strength of Kurt. Fa. Kane sent Hunsuk crashing hard into the wall. The wall shattered. It's the same feeling as that time I almost died. He coughed up blood. It feels like every bone in my body is broken. The image of the Saintess Marriott appeared before Hunsuk's eyes. Get up. He lifted his head. Marriott signaled, You can do it. Hunsuk muttered, Can I really win? He clenched his fist. Right. The battle isn't over until it's over. Hunsuk slowly stood up. I can't embarrass myself in front of the girl I asked out on a date. If my bones are broken, I'll coat them in mana like armor. He quickly boosted his spirit and pushed forward. Mana control increasing from F to E. Mana control increasing from E to D. Hunsuk clenched both hands, gathering all his available mana to deliver the finishing blow. He shouted, Saintus, let's go on a date. Hunsuk slammed his weight into Kurt Kane's back. Die! He groaned. In pain from the effects of the curse, the agony amplified tenfold. Hunsuk balled his hand into a fist, gathering mana all around it. He smirked. Instant eradication. It can shake the very foundation of the ground with its pressure. I'm pouring all that pressure into this one strike. Hunsuk raised his fist high. That's it. Then he slammed it down onto Kurt Kane with all his might. It worked. Everyone in the stands fell silent. Hemis rested her chin on her hand and asked, Zekin, did you teach him? That as well, he replied. No, I've never seen anything like that. At this moment, Hunsuk muttered, a 2-day, 1-night date including dinner and a hotel. Hemis chuckled. Well, then be careful. That's a monster. She smirked. A hero within the demon army. You remind me of someone I hate, Choi Hunsuk. This is going to be interesting. I remember the face I hate so much. Choi Hyun-seok. This is going to be interesting. Hunsuk suddenly jolted awake. He looked at Rachel and asked, Where? What about the battle? As for my experience, she immediately replied, What else could there be? That's your break room. Retro slowly explained that you won, the Saintess healed you, and then left Hunsuk. Hearing that, I immediately opened the system. I have to check my stats. Status name Choi Hunsuk. Hero candidate. Level 212. Strength 80. Agility 77. Stamina 82. Mana 81. Reputation 30. Attributes mining type C. Leadership type E. Cooking type F. Mana control type D. Combat skills. Powerful style. User points 200. Retro added, I could also heal you, you know. Hunsuk replied indifferently. I leveled up a bunch. My level went up 12 times and my other stats increased too. Mana control increased by 2. Retro was surprised. Mana control, I've never seen that happen before. You sighed. You're overreacting again, she said angrily. What do you mean mana control doesn't increase as easily as other skills? A piece of paper fell out, making you curious. Do you know that it... Hunsuk interrupted her. What's this? At Abelson prison, Marriott gazed at the moon and whispered, That's truly superfluous. She remembered Hunsuk. He is so strange. He discovered mana in 3 days. Learning melee combat a night would need at least a week to achieve all that. A normal human couldn't do such a thing. He has mysterious potential, but his personality is a bit weird. Or actually very weird. Marriott stood up and grabbed her cloak. Perhaps the gods have answered my prayers, or perhaps it's simply his talent. Marriott put on her purple cloak. She pursed her lips, thinking to herself, It doesn't matter anymore. He changed his own fate by winning that battle. The Saintess stepped outside with strong conviction. Perhaps he is the hope I've been searching for. She approached the wooden door and knocked gently. The guard heard it and asked, What do you want? The Saintess Marriott coldly replied, I have something I need to request. I want to go out for a walk. Hunsuk had received a message from Marriott. Meet me in the garden after sunset, Abelson. You were astonished and shy, stammering, Is this an SSS? Rank date invitation. Outside the moon shone brightly. Hunsuk stood outside, trembling like a leaf. You muttered to Jaecho, A date? A date? An actual date. What should I ask first? Should I ask for her phone number? No, in this world it would be a mailing address, right? Hearing you lose your composure like that, Jaecho got even angrier. She ordered, Forget those messages and stay in your room. You didn't argue back, but coldly punched Jojo, making her scream in frustration. You always ignore Jojo's words. Just then behind you, the Saintess appeared with 2 soldiers behind her. You saw this and said happily, You came. You Abelson. Only then did you notice the guards and stammered, Who are those people behind you? She heard this and explained, escorts. They said I couldn't go out alone. Hearing this, tears welled up in your eyes. You whispered to yourself, I see. After all, Abelson is the saintess, held captive by the Demon King's army after all. You thought to yourself, what was I expecting? Abelson suggested, shall we go for a walk? The two walked side by side with the two escorts still behind them. Hunsuk thought, damn it, my brain is already fried. With those brutes behind me, I don't even know what to say anymore. At this moment, she suddenly spoke up. Choi Hunsuk, you are a hero, aren't you? Hearing that, you were extremely panicked. You asked, how did you know? She explained to you, in this world, only heroes and demons have black hair. It grows long, too. She turned to tell you, anyway, you seem to have a lot of questions about me, so feel free to ask. Hearing that, you awkwardly replied, thank you in that case. You gathered all your courage and asked, a man like me, could I? Your face was already full of shyness. Your question made her exclaim, you are really… Just then the red monster stepped in front of you and fell to his knees. You shouted in shock, Lord Zydran. You thought, damn it, he ruined the mood. That guy stood in front of you and said seriously, the commander wants to see you immediately. Follow me. Hunsuk, upon hearing this, cried out, right now. Must it be right now? The saintess saw this scene confused, wondering, can I trust someone like him? Hey, Miss sat in front of you saying Thach Thuckly, I really enjoyed your match, Choi Hunsuk. Looking at the way you kept bouncing back without dying, it seems. The life thread of our great hero is very sturdy. She continued, do you remember what I proposed? Hearing that, Hunsuk replied, yes. In exchange for fighting the opponent, you chose you would protect me. She agreed. That's right. You wondered, would I become an official working under you? Lady Hamus heard this and replied insidiously, to tell you the truth, the official part was just something I said for fun, because I thought you'd die early anyway. Suddenly, her smile became even more wicked. She changed her tone. But I've changed my mind. She turned toward Red Room and said, Red Room, didn't you say Choi Hunsuk is a talent who could become a commander in the Demon King's army? She continued her thoughts. So this time, instead of fighting, let's try something else. We can't waste such a talented person on a mediocre platoon leader position, right? She thought, you know that, don't you? Hey, Miss Hamus said, sitting in front of him with a challenging smirk. I really enjoyed your match, Choi Hyun-seok. Looking at the way you keep bouncing back from death, it seems the life thread of our great hero is quite sturdy. She continued, do you remember my offer? Hyun-seok replied, yes. In exchange for fighting the opponent, you choose you'll protect me. She nodded. Exactly. And you were wondering if you'd become an official working under me. Lady Hamus gave a sinister smile. To be honest, the official part was just me joking since I thought you'd die early anyway. Suddenly, her smile turned even more wicked. But I've changed my mind. She turned toward Red Room and said, Red Room, no. Didn't you say Choi Hyun-seok had the talent to become a commander of the Demon King's army? She continued her train of thought. So instead of a fight this time, let's try something else. We can't waste such a talent on a mediocre squad leader position. Don't you think, she added, you know it too. The kitchen crew took a massive hit, she continued, which led to a major disruption in the meat supply for the officials. At this rate, we're going to end up eating each other. Hearing her say that, something seemed to click for him. You say you understand, but why are you telling me? She ignored Hunsuk's comment and commanded, from now on you are a company commander, specifically the commander of the kitchen company. Hearing this, he couldn't help but be stunned, replying, yes, sir. She didn't even notice his shock, placed a hand on his shoulder and said, pick any cooks you want. By the day after tomorrow, get the kitchen back to normal. She finished by saying, you can do it right. This offer left him speechless, and he could only reply, I'll do my best. As soon as he returned to the room, Rachel smugly said to him, look who it is. Isn't it the commander of the devil's own kitchen company? How does it feel to be a hero despite yourself? Are you happy? Are you happy that you've achieved such success? He retorted irritably, yeah, I'm thrilled to death. She hummed in response. Seems like you're still holding a grudge. If we're doing this because we want to, it's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? Saying that, he seriously put on his item glasses and made up his mind. Now let's start this commander business. He looked straight at Ganroom, who was slumped on the floor. Hey blockhead, what are you doing? Hearing Hunsuk call him that, he acted incredibly angry. Blockhead is this human slave meat griller out of his mind. Hunsuk wasn't going to take it lying down. Seeing him mock him, he twitched his mouth and stepped toward him with an imposing aura. You're wrong, blockhead. From now on, call me commander. Having said that, he delivered a powerful kick that sent him flying several meters away. Taking advantage of his authority, he ordered, Everyone gather here now. He sat on a large table with great power. He thought to himself, the average combat power of the kitchen company is around 2,000, with the strongest at 3,500. But then his face grew solemn. He wondered, why are there so few people? He covered his face, thinking, there should have been 300. Now there aren't even 20. The more he thought, the more cornered he felt, so he just had to compromise. But I have to do it. Otherwise I'll be butchered. You bastards, he spoke up. If you know who I am, raise your hand. At this moment, several voices clamored below. A demon soldier confidently raised his hand and said, You're all wrong. He's just an easy-pick human. Hearing this, he didn't hesitate to deliver a kick right at him, pinning the demon soldier flat against the wall. He reaffirmed, I am the commander. The commander, you stupid bastards. With that, he held up a piece of paper and ordered everyone, This is my order as the kitchen company commander. From now on, you must look at me like I'm God and any bastard who knows better. Why are there only this many cooks? Step out and explain. A serious one stepped forward and said, They went hunting without orders and were eaten by demon beasts. Hearing this, he seemed to have a realization, putting a hand behind his head and saying, Fair enough, since you guys always charge in head first. He thought to himself, Looks like there's no other way. There isn't even a single crack in here. Then he closed with a final question. Who here cooks the best? The demon soldiers unanimously looked toward Ganroom, saying in unison, It's Ganroom, he decided. Then Ganroom will be the deputy commander. Any objections? The tired demon soldiers replied, No, sir. Hearing that, he was relieved and ordered, Good, dismissed. He sat alone on his chair, lost in thought, calculating. In the kitchen, you need at least 200 people. To gather that many in one day. Suddenly, an idea struck him. As expected, there was only one way. That way was... The next day, Rachel screamed, That way is Bobo. You're going to use Bobo to threaten them. Hunsuk heard this and just quietly replied, Oh, ho, ho. This is just plan B. He continued his work. He looked around and thought to himself, There's only one condition for choosing a cook, those damn dogs who are easy to replace, and those who never. Then he seemed to spot something. He shouted, Aha, found you! He suddenly unleashed a blast at Albert. You're planning a rebellion against me. Looking at Albert in pain on the ground, he arrogantly proposed, Hey, Mole, be a cook. Albert seemed annoyed by that name. He spoke up as if to confirm Mole. Then he screamed fiercely, You cocky human. Are you crazy? I will. But he didn't care. He just raised a hand to his face and ordered, Stop flapping your gums. He lowered his voice to negotiate with Albert. However, you were the first one recruited today. Do you know what that means? This statement left Albert confused. He smiled brightly and explained, In the military, rank is what matters, and the strong bully the weak. You know that. If you join now, you won't be ranked below too many people. So, he continued, Go bring your underlings here, to take the beatings for you. Albert cheered up significantly. He asked as if he couldn't believe his ears, Underlings? He agreed. That's right. So bring your friends here. If you bring 5 of them, when the others take the beating 10 times in the future, his face beamed as he sat down looking at Albert offering the proposal. You will only have to take 1, and he called that Plan A, the pyramid. At the dining hall, the clatter of knives and forks echoed. The Demon King's Army 3rd Battalion Commander Doris was enjoying a delicious meal. So peaceful. This elegant meal was proof of peace. From outside, there was a loud shout. Commander Doris, sir, we have a problem. Doris wiped his mouth and coldly replied, Can't you be a little more refined? What is it this time? Doris asked dismissively, as the green monster reported that most of the members in their battalion had gone missing. Don't tell me they deserted. They've left their posts. They have nothing better to do than serve me. The green monster hurriedly explained. No, it's not like that. It seems they've all been drafted as cooks for the army. Doris poked at his meat with a fork. The head chef is a human that Commander Hamish holds in very high regard, isn't he? Yes, sir. Tell them to be more careful next time. Let's leave it at that. The soldier desperately shouted. This isn't something we can just easily overlook. They've taken 200 of our men to be cooks. Doris froze for 5 seconds. What did you say? At the training ground, Retro spoke up. We've gathered over 200 people now. Thanks, hero. Choi Hun-suk smirked. This is why you have to be smart. He suddenly flinched, looking into the distance. We have enough kitchen staff. Should I stop recruiting? Doris and the green monster soldier approached. Hun-suk thought to himself, oh, this is bad. He adjusted his glasses and said nonchalantly, I don't know what's going on, but that guy is clearly furious. A warning sounded. This measuring device, it can't measure it. The combat power exceeds 50,000. If it goes beyond its limits, it might break. Hun-suk muttered, this sucks. Time to pack up and run. Doris, losing patience, shouted, Hey Choi, Hun-suk is the one serving Lord Bobo here. Hun-suk glanced back, thinking, seriously, what is this? He walked over slowly. Yes, that's me. What are you here for, my lord? Doris introduced himself. I am Doris, commander of the 3rd Battalion. He asked arrogantly, You're asking me what I'm here for? What the hell do you think you're doing? Doris pointed at the green monsters. Stealing all the members of my battalion, are you? Hun-suk froze, thinking, Don't tell me it's these scumbags. Did they bring all their friends from their unit with them? Doris shouted, Follow me. We'll talk in my office. Yes, Commander. Damn it, no wonder everything went so smoothly. In the private room, Doris asked, So are you saying this wasn't intentional? Hun-suk explained, That's right, sir. I only chose the bravest soldiers, but they all happen to belong to the great 3rd Battalion. Doris pondered. The Corps commander thinks very highly of this human. It's better to let this slide peacefully. He said cheerfully, I understand. In that case, it's no problem. Go ahead and take whoever you want. Hun-suk was surprised. Really, I had a good feeling about this. Doris immediately spoke up. But I have one condition. Hun-suk stiffened. I had a bad feeling about this. Doris said excitedly, Since you've already done this, you're taking one of my soldiers too. Hun-suk thought, He wants me to take one of his soldiers too. It looks like he wants to dump a failure on me. Doris's eyes burned bright. What's the matter? Don't want to. Especially after you took all my soldiers. What's with that attitude? He immediately affirmed, No, I'm just so happy. Oh, Doris responded immediately. Understood. It's decided then. Come here, I'll introduce you. A hand appeared from outside the door. His name is Usaru. He's a cute hybrid creature. The monster looked at him and greeted him. Usaru is here, Commander. The system announced. Combat power cannot be measured. Doris said, His flaw is that he's very stupid, but he's very strong. So use this guy. The giant Usaru said, Usaru. Bumped head. Both men looked on helplessly. At the training ground, Hun-suk looked at the crowd of green monsters and said, I'll introduce myself again. I am Choi Hun-suk, the caretaker for Lord Bobo and also the new head chef. The crowd below became rowdy. Is that the Lord Bobo everyone is rumored about? Hun-suk looked at Bobo beside him and said, Good job, kid. He looked at the crowd. From now on, we're reorganizing the unit. Hun-suk pulled out a piece of paper. I've prepared a new list. Check the list and arrange yourselves in order. Rachel looked at him. You even prepared a list. What is your criteria? Hun-suk offered his opinion. I thought their intelligence levels were quite similar, so I listed them by combat power. He praised himself silently. I assigned the weak ones and those with long-term cooking experience to the kitchen staff. I'm a genius. Head chef, we're done, Hun-suk replied excitedly. Really, let's see. He began to comment. The group on the right is the cooking unit, and the group on the left is the combat unit. No one has any issues with their jobs, right? If you do, speak up right now. An arm suddenly shot up. I have a problem. The large green monster shouted. I want to go hunting too. I want to eat fresh meat caught right on the spot. Hunsuk scratched his head. What's so stubborn? Come here. Let's hunt some more. I want to eat fresh meat caught right on the spot. Hunsuk scratches his head. What a stubborn one, get over here. He slowly approaches. Instantly, Hunsuk launches a kick, sending the guy flying high. There you go, your entrance exam. The green monster screams in agony. It's gonna blow my future. Hunsuk replies nonchalantly. You couldn't hold on, you failed. A system notification appears. With your excellent leadership and commanding skills, you have reorganized and stabilized the unit. Hidden potential has leveled up. Leadership has leveled up. He asks loudly, anyone else? He coughs lightly and shouts forcefully, since it's confirmed combat unit, get your weapons, it's hunting time. At the Black Castle Great Forest in the north, Hunsuk observes everything and speaks. The forest is unusually quiet today. There isn't a single monster in sight. Vatron speaks up. Perhaps it's because of Boba or Usaru. Maybe their presence is so powerful that it scared the beasts away. He looks at Boba and Usaru and says, that's very possible. Hunsuk sighs. Those two are our strongest warriors. We can't abandon them. Reijo suggests an idea. Then we just need to lure them with bait. He replies, bait. If we had meat, we wouldn't have been in such a rush to go hunting like this. Reijo says excitedly, no. It's not complicated bait. The bait I'm talking about is biological bait to lure the monsters here. Hunsuk is stunned. Oh my God, what happened to make a child of yours turn out like this? Hunsuk speaks up. All right, number 14, 314, 3, and number 7 on the list step forward. Rachel asks curiously, how are you picking numbers this time? He covers his face and explains, they're serial numbers from the lottery tickets I left back on Earth. What if I'm the one who wins? Hunsuk yells. Whatever mission starts now. He orders Usaru to grab number 14. He rushes in and immediately snatches number 14. What are you, insane? Hunsuk says softly. All right, let's go. Usaru uses his ultimate move, Goblin Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. Hunsuk smugly thinks to himself, if we toss the weaklings out as bait like this, it will definitely catch their attention, right? All right now. He points at a soldier and commands, light a fire so our missing comrades can see the smoke and come back. Yes, chef, Retro says anxiously, but if you throw them like that, they'll die. Hunsuk replies, I'm sure 1 out of the 6 will survive and come back. Usaru, don't stop, keep throwing them. The monsters behind whisper in fear. The chef, that human is insane. I want to live. One of them suggests, it's better to just run away. Bobo is right next to him now. The monster stammers, no. It's not what you think, Lord Bobo. I will dedicate my whole life to the Demon King's army. Screams echo from behind. Hunsuk pretends not to hear. Damn it, the first ones I sent should have been back by now. From the forest, a green monster runs out, shouting, help. Hunsuk looks at him and smiles with satisfaction. Oh, they're back. Now. I'll leave it to the soldiers to land the final blow. Before he can finish, Usaru lunges forward, screaming loudly. Usaru loves to fight. He grabs his blade in a flash and rushes straight at the monsters. Reveal, Hunsuk freezes in place. Finish them what? He drops to his knees, collapsing, tears rolling down his face. Nothing. I didn't get anything. They were all crushed. I can't even use them as meat. Reveal says in surprise. Just 1 hit from Bobo. And Usaru is enough to take down almost all the monsters. Hunsuk says sadly, I need to go back tomorrow without those 2. Rachel looks at him and asks, there's only 1 day left until the chef mission returns to normal. Are you sure about this? Hunsuk immediately shouts, we're going back right now. Everyone gather at the kitchen early tomorrow morning. Rachel wonders, why did you come here after getting back? Hunsuk replies loudly, I need to see if the monster meat is usable. He assesses the situation, coughs lightly, and then uses all his might to kick the door open. Hunsuk yells, where are those lazy bums? Assemble immediately. In a flash, someone runs over. Oh, chef, what's the matter? He asks seriously. Have you taken the meat from today's hunt yet? Goblin, the sous chef, looks at him and trembles. Yes, we've taken it. But the condition is a bit... Hunsuk's gaze changes. A craftsman doesn't blame his tools right. Do you understand? That thing. The guy replies fearfully. Yes, I understand. He pouts at Goblin. Even with your experience as an army chef, you don't know how to prepare minced meat. The guy replies honestly. Well, the kitchen team is only tasked with ensuring ingredients, so unless you're a personal chef or a regiment commander, you can't really cook anything other than grilling meat. Hunsuk folds his arms. You guys have it tough, huh? I get it. Now get going. The guy understands and hurries off. Hey, Alat assemble now. Light the firewood. Hunsuk thinks, so everyone below the rank of regiment commander has to survive on these bland meals. He smirks. If I play my cards right, things might be easier than I thought. Outside Marriott's room, Hunsuk knocks and calls her name. Ms. Marriott, it's me, Hunsuk. She startles and replies, Oh, hero, please come in. He stammers, Hello, it's nothing, I just came to see you because... Rachel stands to the side, muttering, It's all just an excuse to see the woman. Isn't it? I wonder why you went to the kitchen. So that was it. Hunsuk brings the grilled meat to Marriott. You haven't had dinner yet, right? He adds, Thanks to you. Sort of supporting me, I was able to win the final match. I want to treat you to a meal as a thank you. Marriott is surprised. Thank you. I'll have a little then. She tastes a piece of meat. It smells better than I thought. Can I really expect something this good? Mario was incredibly surprised. This is delicious. It's even better than the food I get in the castle. The flavor is incredibly amazing. Hunsuk said happily, noticing how much the food suited her taste as she had already wiped her plate clean. He scratched his head and added softly, Well, since you finished eating, if you'll excuse me, I'll be going now. Marriott immediately called out to him, looking at him with sparkling eyes. What are you planning to do after you leave this place? Hunsuk gave a wry smile. Getting married. Marriott shook her head gloomily. I see. Go on then. He immediately spoke up. Actually, there's one other thing I want to do. She turned to look at Hunsuk, and he said shyly, how about you? What do you plan to do after leaving this place? Marriott's mood sank. I don't know. Once I leave here, I don't want to do anything at all. The Holy Kingdom of Garden, the capital of Gradium, a theocratic regime ruled by the Pope of the Sister Sky Church. My lord, we have found Abelson Marriott, the next saintess. The man slumped to the ground. The saintess is being held in the Black Castle, where the gluttonous monsters live. How could the next saintess end up in such a cruel place? The white-haired person sitting on the throne asked softly. Is there any news about the Demon King's army yet? The other replied, Not yet. I still don't understand what they are planning. They're holding her captive without making any demands. The white-haired person suddenly stood up. In the history of the war between humanity and demons, there have only been a few times humans could infiltrate the Black Castle. He emphasized, even then that was only when the gluttonous monster Hamas was away. Therefore, a direct attack right now would be very disadvantageous for us. The white-haired man drew the curtain. Secretly send a rescue squad. He leaned forward and said, Summon the hero Ocelot, the King of Garden and Pope of the Sister Sky Church, Alvin IV. At the training ground, Hunsuk stood observing his surroundings. He recalled the words Marriott once said, I won't do anything at all. Hunsuk said uncomfortably, What does that even mean? Stay right there. All right, this place will do. The platoon leader stepped forward and the mob of monsters behind him shouted, Platoon leader, step forward. Hunsuk picked something up. All right, eat up. It was a string of meat. The wolf monster was surprised. Is he just tossing us his leftovers? Hunsuk asked coldly, What are you doing? Are you not going to eat? The monsters devoured it ravenously. We will eat my lord. They immediately realized something. Wait, this flavor. This is pure heaven. The monsters knelt and shouted, We swear our loyalty to you. Please give us another piece. Hunsuk smiled and replied, Oh ho, your chance for a taste is over. From now on, the monsters immediately understood and rushed forward. Charge! Only the platoon that catches the most living magical beasts gets to eat with me. They ran for their lives. Run faster. Today I absolutely will not let myself go hungry. It's time for the dinner lottery. Catch those beasts. Hunsuk smiled smugly. I was right. Every living creature is a slave to their appetite. The plan is a success. A system notification popped up. Level up. He wiped the sweat from his brow. I kept slashing them, and before I knew it, I had leveled up 10 times. The wolf monster from earlier saw him and spoke up. Chief Cook, so, who is the winner? Hunsuk put his hands on his hips. All right, the winner is the wolf platoon. The wolf platoon will enjoy a wonderful meal with me. Hearing this, the other monsters voiced their complaints. What about the rest of us? He replied indifferently. Why should I care? Go find some scraps to eat. Hunsuk shouted loudly. All right, everyone, clean this up. We're moving all the meat we've hunted to the kitchen. They replied in unison. Yes, my lord. Inside the black castle, the corpses of monsters lay scattered everywhere. A man in a black cloak walked past the piles of bodies, heading toward a door at the end. At that moment, Marriott was still blaming herself. I shouldn't have said that to him. But I can't keep hiding this forever. The door to the room slowly opened. The figure in the cloak stepped inside. He called out to her, Abelson Marriott, and then he removed his hood. I've come to save you. Marriott backed away. Lord Gayfan, did the Pope send you? He replied softly. You could say that. I think so. She trembled as she spoke. I'm sorry, but I won't go back. Her eyes were wary. So please, just leave. Gayfan scratched his head and laughed. I want to go back too, but duty is duty. What can I do? Marriott said coldly. As you know, the one who lives in this castle, if you try to take me away. He stepped closer. What if I do? She shivered. I will use my holy power and make her come here immediately. Gayfan grabbed her. Saintess, I already said this is a mission. Right now I'm not a prince. I'm a warrior. His eyes were full of killing intent. Sleep tight, because when you open your eyes, you'll be in the capital. Marriott was in pain. She looked at him, conflicted. Can he use divine power? How is that possible? Marriott's eyes went blank. No, I can't go back there again. Suddenly, an arm lunged out. Get your hands off her! It was Hunsuk. He punched Gayfan in the head with all his might and shouted, Leave her alone, you jerk! He looked at him and asked calmly, a punch filled with magical energy. You look like a human, though. Who exactly are you? Your moves are pretty good compared to the magic you wield, Hunsuk roared in furious frustration. What the hell are you talking about? Take your hands off her now! Geffen began his counterattack. He delivered a powerful kick right at him. This isn't my mission, but we always have to use whatever useful material we can find. So are you coming with me? Hunsuk was left reeling from his kick. Geffen took control of the situation, his voice dripping with mockery. Common vermin always getting in my way. Vegeto watched the scene trembling in fear. He defeated a hero with just one blow. What am I supposed to do? Should I bring Bobo here? She sensed something unusual and spun around. What is this aura? Geffen pulled out a scroll. I didn't expect this to happen, but I have no choice. Let's see. He began muttering. To take someone else with me, I need to adjust this scroll first. From behind Geffen, a voice called out, Hey, is something wrong? Hamish looked at him and smiled. Need some help. He quickly spun around on high alert. The glutton Hamish. I'm certain I blocked the Saintess's divine power. She looked at Geffen and spoke. You can call me the gourmet. He trembled slightly, thinking to himself, I can't sense a shred of magical energy from this woman. Is it because of the difference in our ranks? Hamish the glutton. The stories about her devouring thousands of soldiers in a single day, perhaps they were true. Hamish began to release her energy. Now then, let's see what our guest is capable of, shall we? Geffen was suddenly surrounded and sealed off by a wave of purple magic. He told himself, Don't panic. I just need to focus on dodging her attacks. When I get the chance, I'll take the Saintess with me. Geffen felt something. Is it dizziness? Is it because of what happened earlier? He screamed, Damn it, I'm too late. Hamish's face twisted into a more vicious expression. She said coldly, I like your desperation. Can you make this even more interesting for me? Geffen bit down on the scroll. Considering my current physical state, the best move is to leave here alone. Mission failed. He immediately used his ability to escape. Hamish felt bored. Oh my. She looked at everything around her and whispered happily, "The guest just ran away even though I was counting on him." Hamish's expression gradually became wicked, but she added, "That's fine, because the truly interesting parts are just beginning now." In the infinite void, a monotonous voice echoed, "The glutton ancient monster and ageless witch." These are all nicknames, attached to the name of the 3rd Legion commander Hamish. Throughout the eternal flow of time, countless demons have been born and died, but among them only the Demon King and Hamish have stood as firm as a mountain. However, nothing stays sharp forever under the current of time. This is a fate too cruel for any rational creature. Back to reality. Hunsuk took a direct kick from Zedran. He calmly pulled back his leg, watching him sprawled on the ground. "Your attack patterns are still too predictable, and the way you use mana, it's too straightforward. Think more complexly. Don't be so rigid." Hearing Zedran's teachings, Hunsuk's tears flowed. "I will remember that." He smiled at the boy's appearance. "And one more thing. No matter how strong you are, and there will always be someone stronger than you." Zedran leaned down, reached out and pulled Hunsuk up. "So, to win, use whatever means necessary if needed. A fair fight is a privilege, reserved for the truly strong. Don't you forget that." After Zedran finished his lecture, he grinned. "That's it for today. Well done." Hunsuk watched his back as he walked away, only able to steady his exhausted body, with a reluctant smile before finally collapsing. Seeing him in such a pathetic state, Veho asked with concern, "Hero, are you okay?" "No, I'm dying. Please heal me." As she healed him, his sore muscles began to relax. "Ah, now I'm alive." "Am I just your personal portable potion now?" Veho snapped, annoyed. Hunsuk didn't respond, only falling into deep thought. I can only say this much. Abelson's voice and image suddenly appeared in his mind. "Become stronger. Only the confidence born from real strength can protect you, Hunsuk." He still didn't quite understand what she meant, but Abelson was right. I really do need to get stronger. Seeing him talk about that successor saintess from the Holy Kingdom, Veho got angry. "You're still talking about her. She almost sent you to meet your ancestors during that so-called coming-of-age ritual, you know. You'll get punished for saying things like that." She pouted and continued healing Hunsuk. "But the assassin used holy power. If she's really a saintess, why would she be attacked?" Hunsuk also thought it was strange. "Truly, a successor saintess should be an incredibly noble figure, right?" The more he thought, the more his head hurt. He sighed. "Fine, forget it. Let's drop this topic." "What do you really like her that much?" Rejo was so angry, her face twisted. She screamed, "You're just a moth flying into a flame. Now stop being jealous. Do you want to die? Where do you think you're living right now?" A moment later, after their argument, Hunsuk was face down on the table sniffling. Rejo was helpless and Bobo looked confused. "Hunsuk, you're doomed. Please let me be reincarnated as a rich person's pet cat in my next life." Bobo heard his crazy talk and barked once. Only then did she notice Bobo turning to ask it, "Do you really care about that idiot? Woof." "Fine then." Oh, so he was. Through Bobo's nosy perspective, time rewinds 30 minutes to Hamish's office. Hunsuk, this Legion commander, he was facing a major problem. "I'm so bored." Hearing her say that, he jumped in shock, as expected. "I need some entertainment." Hunsuk replied listlessly, "Yes. I'll give you 1 month to defeat the captain." Hearing her final ultimatum, Hunsuk broke out in a cold sweat. "The squadron leader," he stammered. She smirked. "What is that too hard for you?" "Do you want my help? Like when I helped you with the meat?" Hunsuk, terrified, quickly refused. "No, I'll handle it myself." Back in the present, he sank into despair again, so gloomy. "That's how it is. Say your goodbyes, Bobo. You won't be seeing him much longer." Rachel whispered, stabbing a hero in the back. "Well, I guess that's fate. A weakling like you, how could you ever beat a squadron leader?" Being mocked while he was already down made Hunsuk furious. Can't you see I'm struggling here? You want to die?" She quickly backtracked. "Of course you've improved a lot, hero, but the squadron leader is just on a completely different level." Hoonsuk whimpered. "The squadron leader's average combat power is around 40,000. There's no way anyone can reach that level in just 1 month." Looking down at Bobo, his combat power was immeasurable. He stared at the dog with wide eyes, feeling defeated. "If only my purebred dog could fight for me. Bobo might be as strong as but maybe even stronger than the squadron leader." Rachel shattered Hoonsuk's delusional train of thought. "But this is a one-on-one match, right?" Suddenly a thought struck him. "Wait, a one-on-one duel?" Rachel asked. "To be precise, what exactly did the Corps commander say?" She said. "You have 1 month. Defeat the squadron leader." Grasping the loophole in the request, Hoonsuk beamed. "That's it. She didn't explicitly say it had to be a fair duel, did she? If I use swords, bows, Bobo poison, and then use a partner plus an assassination, that's technically a fair and square defeat of the squadron leader, right?" Thinking of this, he was overjoyed. "It means as long as I take him down, any method works." "You're really going to interpret it that way?" Rachel said, helpless. Hoonsuk anxiously chewed his fingernails. "I just need to lure him out and fight him together with Bobo. That's the only way." The spirit sighed. "Should I call you smart or just cowardly?" Rachel was puzzled. "But seriously, how do you plan to lure the squadron leader out? What possible method does a weakling like you have to make someone like him follow your lead?" "Of course I have a plan." He pulled out a jar. "I recently met someone, a pig who loves fancy meals, and now it's time for the presentation of the dish. The ultimate braised ribs. This will surely tempt the squadron leader." First, he used carefully stored uranium meat, soaking the uranium ribs in honey water to remove the blood. After draining it, he parboiled the meat. While waiting, Hoonsuk used the many-eyed mushroom combat power 50 with its interesting bumpy texture and sliced it with onions. He added sugar soy sauce and garlic to the water. You have to use the Drake garlic combat power 80, but be careful it screams when you peel it. And fermented fish combat power 30, the juices from its internal organs. I will make the flavor absolutely perfect." He stirred it all in and put it in the pot to simmer with the meat for at least 30 minutes. Suddenly, 2 black and white blur silhouettes flashed across the screen. "Oh my God!" It was Hoonsuk and Bobo. He collapsed, panting. "To lose to manual labor, how humiliating." "Woof!" Rachel calmly reminded him. "Hero, it's burning," causing Hoonsuk to panic. He opened the pot lid. The fragrant, tender uranium braised ribs were ready, now to plate them neatly and sprinkle with chopped green onions. Unlocked ultimate braised ribs. Unlocked the squadron leader's heart. The table was fully set. A while later, Doris appeared looking absolutely blissful while enjoying the food. "I love this. It's been so long since I've been able to enjoy a peaceful time like this." He happily raised both hands, holding his knife and fork. "Usaru, making the decision to choose Hoonsuk was truly my best move yet." Suddenly, a goblin entered to report. "Lord Doris, the squadron commander of the kitchen staff, is here to see you." Doris heard this and beckoned with his index finger. "Tell him returning Usaru is not an option." "Sir, he didn't come here for that," the subordinate replied. Seeing him like that, the subordinate timidly added, "To express his gratitude, he wants to personally serve you the dish he cooked." Doris was surprised, pouting. "A dish?" Then he wiped his tight, pouty lips. "I heard that guy cooks really well. I wonder how good it actually is." Not letting him wait long, a knock at the door sounded. "Come in." Creak. The door opened with heavy footsteps. Hoonsuk appeared with a rose in his mouth, radiating charm. "Long time no see Lord Doris." Looking at his handsome appearance, he actually wanted to eat him too. But no matter how mesmerized he was, Doris had to keep his composure. Wait, this isn't quite right. Right, I heard you came here to thank me." Hoonsuk quickly placed the plate of food he brought in front of him. "Yes, thanks to you. I have my position in the kitchen. I'm sorry I couldn't thank you sooner. I've been so busy." He smirked. "My skills might be a bit lacking, but I put my whole heart into preparing these uranium ribs to show my gratitude. Please enjoy the meal." Looking at the tempting food before him, Doris's drool flowed everywhere. "Oh my, this aroma. Then I'll start eating." He picked up a rib with his hands and held it to his nose, sniffing deeply. Doris exclaimed, "It smells so good." Watching him start to devour it, Hoonsuk stood by, triumphant. "This dish helped me become the lord of the kitchen. Let's see if you get captivated by it." Just as he predicted, as Doris finished tasting a bite, he cried out in joy, "Delicious! This is so delicious. I can't take it anymore. This dish is just too good. How did you make this? How can a human make such an amazing dish?" The sickeningly sweet tone was like a machine gun firing directly into Hoonsuk's eardrums, giving him goosebumps. "I'm so glad you find it tasty." Hoonsuk broke into a cold sweat and hurriedly said, "If it's all right with you, I'd like you to try new items on the menu later." "Of course, I'd be delighted," he replied, exerting all his might. Yes, then I will visit you often." Rachel was about to snap. She turned her face away. "Amazing, no wonder. The Corps commander is so biased toward you." Yes, my lord. I'll head back to the kitchen now." He did his best to use his trembling hand to grab the doorknob, saying a difficult goodbye. "Goodbye." Hoonsuk and Rachel exchanged glances, finally free from that guy. We both couldn't hold it in anymore. After a bout of vomiting, we sat there gasping for air. Rachel, pale-faced, praised Hoonsuk. "You really have nerves of steel. It was all part of my plan. I'm going to fatten him up, and when he least expects it." She wiped her mouth with her hand. She continued with a determined tone, "I'm going to slaughter that pig." Doris at this moment had no idea that his chubby body was being plotted against by Hoonsuk. Time flew by like a wild dog running through the fields. A week passed. The hand holding the fork paused mid-motion. After finishing 3 stacks of plates, Doris complained, "I don't have much of an appetite today." He shyly poked his finger. "Tomorrow I have a one-on-one duel for the position of battalion commander. I guess I've become too important for anyone to ignore me." Hoonsuk, hearing him mention this, became anxious. "So what if you lose? Then I'll lose the title of battalion commander. But there's a saying, a ghost must eat before it dies. It still sounds tempting." Saying this, Doris bowed his head and continued to eat greedily. Hoonsuk stared wide-eyed. "I'm done for." Hoonsuk didn't want to live anymore. His whole week of time, effort, and ingredients, were they all for nothing? The leader suddenly spoke up. "Hoonsuk, if you're free, come watch the match tomorrow. You're my good luck charm." Hoonsuk, looking as if he'd aged 80 years, replied weakly, "Yes, of course. I hope you win." The next day, "Welcome to the infinite plains." Hoonsuk held his head in his hands, sitting in the stands. Retro flew around, trying to comfort him. "Cheer up, you never know. Maybe he'll evolve into a super SSS-class wild boar." "That would actually be good," Hoonsuk replied dejectedly. "He finished all the food I cooked and can't even walk properly. How could he possibly win? Well, it's too late now. You have to focus on the match, too." Approaching the corridor and leaning against the railing, a silver-haired elf appeared below in the stands, and the MC's introduction rang out simultaneously. "The Demon King of the 3rd Legion Regiment, Commander Roger. Both the challenger and the defender, please step into the arena." At the MC's signal, a horseshoe-shaped mark appeared. Ah no, it was a scent, actually. Meanwhile, as for Doris, because of his bulky body, just climbing the stairs made him gasp for air. Sure enough, the stairs were the hardest part. Suddenly, remembering something, he scanned the stands. "Oh, Hoonsuk, you came." "My good luck charm." Good luck." "I'm very busy, you idiot," Roger said coldly. "Start the match." After the signal, the legs full of springing power of that void creature lunged straight at Doris. He looked up, exhaling, "I really don't want to be bothered." To everyone's surprise, the next second, he effortlessly blocked the void creature's staff. The void creature didn't expect him to change so abruptly. Gritting his teeth, he increased his strength, but Doris directly gripped the staff tightly, his feet firmly planted. A thunderous explosion erupted right after shaking the entire stand. "Ouch! The shockwave reached all the way here! What the hell Hoonsuk tried to open his eyes to observe the situation. It only took a moment, but I was sure this match would end with Roger underneath. Leaving his seat. "So, Doris, has gained the upper hand. He announced the result Doris as the winner. Everyone dispersed. That night at Bobo's house, Hunsuk sat staring like an autistic person. He gripped the letter in his hand. I knew it. Just Bobo isn't enough, is it? Regaining his spirits, he pulled out a book. Let's review the plan to hunt the battalion commander. He set the book down. It was an encyclopedia of monsters and a monster distribution map that he had drawn himself. Is this the map you always use when hunting monsters? That's right. According to my research, powerful creatures like the Talus Queen have their own territory. Thanks to the sacrifice of the kitchen soldiers, I've discovered the territories around here. Retro, hearing him drone on, panicked. Hero, are you intending to use this to? Listen carefully. In Korea, there's a saying, use the enemy to destroy another enemy. Let the barbarians fight each other. Hunsuk declared heroically. If Doris is a strong opponent, I just need to overwhelm him with even stronger monsters. Time passed. 3 days later, at the great forest where the majestic high mountains are, Rachel at this moment was complaining incessantly. After memorizing the monster encyclopedia for 3 days, I feel like I'm about to explode. Hunsuk heard and complained. I told you we should have split it up. She stopped talking about that issue. Never mind, give me the map quickly, I'm going to throw up. He opened the map and pointed to a position on it. The first target is 1 kilometer ahead of us. It looks like a giant worm. Rachel, hearing this, began to imagine the monster and showcase her knowledge. It must be a surfeit. From that, it means forest worm in the ancient language. There are also moss pits and Aston bias that look similar too. The whole area just echoed with her guesses. But the Sophie was ruled out. In terms of strength, it's not as fierce, so it won't attack proactively. After saying that, Rachel put on a smug expression. What do you think? I'm good, right? I'm quite a genius, aren't I, Hunsuk? Hunsuk next to her didn't know what else to say. Sure. In his heart, he secretly sneered. There are times when even a fool is useful. A subordinate ran toward Hunsuk and said loudly, Commander of the cooking division, have you decided on the hunting spot for today? Hunsuk was still intently looking at the map. It's just ahead. Just wait. Noisy sounds erupted incessantly. No need to catch anything. Just kill freely. I'll let you eat the prey immediately. A green goblin, with an expression of undisguised excitement. Wow, the commander finally has some humanity. Today we can eat to our heart's content. He immediately swung his sword down. My meat! He lifted the animal he had just hunted and laughed loudly. Hunsuk stood behind them, observing everything, and couldn't help but wonder. We've caught so many already, why hasn't this territory's owner appeared yet? He was so confused he ruffled his hair. Don't tell me we did all this and got nothing. He ordered, Everyone drop your weapons. Stop here. A subordinate hearing this hurriedly shouted to the others. The commander says drop your weapons. Everyone start a fire. Suddenly a footstep made the ground shake instantly. Hunsuk heard it and was startled. That sound. He thought to himself, is it finally here? The birds in the forest scattered in a panic, terrified by something descending from the sky. A piercing, glowing red gaze cut through the air as a massive red monster emerged. Everyone present was frozen in an instant of sheer terror. It was a monster known as a Nidrax, a threat beyond measure. A dragon had arrived. With every step the Nidrax took, the ground sparked with fire. Seeing the beast, Hunsuk felt no fear, quite the opposite. He was thrilled. This is it. With this thing. He felt as though he were looking at a god of war. We can take down Doris now. Back at Hermes' office, a voice echoed. There's something very strange going on, Red Room. Red Room, startled, replied. Pardon. Hermes sat in her chair, looking annoyed. I'm talking about Hunsuk. It's been 3 weeks since we've heard anything from him, hasn't it? Her voice was laced with irritation. Is our Red Room teaching him something special, perhaps? Red Room kept his face stoic. Not at all. We are only conducting standard training. Hermes' voice filled the room again. Then, in your expert opinion, what are the odds of Hunsuk defeating the battalion commander? The man replied cautiously. None, my lady. Red Room hesitated, then added, Now that I think about it, I did notice Hunsuk seems quite close with the battalion commander. Hermes looked confused. Close with that pig. She tilted her head, lost in thought. He claimed he would defeat the battalion commander, yet he's acting chummy with him. A strange, dark smile curled her lips. What exactly is Hunsuk planning, I wonder? Elsewhere in Doris's office, dirty dishes were piled high like a mountain. Doris was savoring a piece of meat. As expected, the meat you grill is the best. He rubbed his round, full belly in satisfaction. Thanks for the meal today, Hunsuk. Hunsuk cleaned up the plates, but sighed, which caught Doris's attention. Looking confused, he asked, Is something wrong? Hunsuk sighed, wiped sweat from his brow, and looked troubled. There's a major problem with the cooking unit. I'm afraid today might be the last time I can treat you, Lord Doris. Doris couldn't sit still after hearing that. Why, what's the problem? Hunsuk explained. The Legion commander said she wants to eat a special kind of monster, but it's so powerful that we've been trying to catch it for days. His expression shifted suddenly to one of extreme terror. Come to think of it, the name of that monster is... A flood of thoughts raced through his mind. I heard that lately many people in the Legion have been getting injured. What kind of ferocious monster could it be? As if reading his thoughts, Hunsuk spoke up, Maplin. Hearing such an unfamiliar name, Doris was puzzled. Maplin, I've never heard of that. Hunsuk looked slightly guilty, but he pushed back. Why would I lie when our very safety is on the line? Doris offered a solution. All right, I'll lend you my soldiers. Hunsuk still acted discouraged. Even with 100 soldiers, it's useless. We still couldn't catch it. However, he then looked hesitant and added, If the great Lord Doris were to step in personally, he covered his face, acting mysterious. It would be eliminated in no time. Then the Legion commander would surely recognize your achievements. Before Hunsuk could even finish, Doris was already imagining Hermes praising him. Oh my, so you aren't just a pig, but a charming young man after all. He couldn't hide his excitement. Really? Seeing his plan working, Hunsuk pushed hard to seal the deal. Since I'm close with the Legion commander, I guarantee I'll tell her all about it. Doris looked a bit conflicted. This sounds like a real hassle, honestly. But he quickly grabbed Hunsuk's hand and agreed. But fine, I'll help you out. We're friends after all. Hunsuk's eyes sparkled with feigned joy. You mean it, oh wow. But behind the plate of food, a cunning smile appeared. Thank you so much. Early the next morning, at the agreed-upon location, Rachel hovered on her broom and asked, Hero, do you remember the map? Hunsuk glanced at her and replied, Of course, I'm a human-powered GPS now. He looked down and whispered to Bobo, who was wagging his tail at his feet. Bobo, we're going to catch that pig. Usaru, do as I told you. The creature's eyes sparkled. Usaru, for his part, was pumping himself up. Usaru orders from the master mean meat work hard. Seeing his team ready, Hunsuk led the way happily. All right, let's go. A notification appeared. Mission Hunt the Pig. Reward promotion to battalion commander. Meanwhile, in the center of the great forest, a group of goblins was marching forward. One couldn't hold back and asked, Where are we going? Another replied, I don't know. The commander said we're going to hunt an incredibly powerful monster. Doris groaned, sounding miserable. It's way too bright out here. He sat on Usaru's back, shielding his eyes from the sun. Hunsuk, how much longer until we get there? Hunsuk, walking beside him, replied respectfully, We're almost at the Nidrax territory, my lord. He gripped the reins of Usaru, thinking to himself, He's stronger than he looks, so we need to be careful. Thinking of the 500 soldiers he brought from his own battalion, surely the Nidrax won't lose right. A thunderous roar shook the air. As birds scattered in panic, Doris asked, Is that the Nidrax? Hunsuk nodded. Yes, my lord. Doris looked thoughtful. It feels like I've seen it somewhere before. Hunsuk quickly cut him off. All monsters look the same, my lord. Doris clenched his fists, preparing to unleash his power. True. After all, a monster is just a monster. His eyes turned sharp in an instant. Huin Siok walks alongside, answering with deep respect. We are almost at the blubber territory, my lord. He tightly grips Usaru's leash, thinking to himself, He's stronger than he looks, so we need to be careful. Thinking about the massive army behind him, plus the 500 soldiers he brought from his battalion Nidrax, definitely won't lose. Right, a deafening noise echoes through the air. sending flocks of birds scattering in all directions. Seeing Nidrak appear, Doris immediately asks, "Is that the blubber?" Hearing the question, he replies, "Yes, my lord," looking deep in thought. "It feels like I've met it somewhere before." Huin Siak quickly interrupts that train of thought. "All monsters look the same, my lord." Doris clenching his fists, preparing to unleash his power. "That's right, a monster's just a monster after all." His eyes turning sharp in an instant. "My battalion will take care of that monster." He leapt off Usaru's back, not forgetting to instruct, "Make sure to tell the Legion commander of my achievements." Huin Siak watched him go and replied, "Of course, Doris." Rushing toward Nidraka, he ordered his troops below, "El advance, everyone attack." The battle unfolded fiercely with smoke and fire everywhere amidst chaotic screams. "It's slowed down, watch your flanks, don't fall back," following Commander Doris's orders. By now he had landed ready to take flight again. The attack again. He curled his body into a ball and launched himself like a meatball battering ram. Watching the battle between them, Huin Siak below couldn't help but worry. If it keeps going like this, that pig might actually kill the monster. He was shocked by the soldiers' loyalty. Doris's men were truly shielding him with their own bodies. He thought to himself, "This is completely different from what I expected." Doris lunged, preparing for the finishing move. Time to end this. A cloud of fat. No, another soldier came running, shouting, "Commander Doris!" The soldier yelled, delivering urgent news. "Another monster is coming." Hearing that, his expression hardened. "What?" Huin Siak heard it too. He couldn't help but be shocked. "This is Nidragnir's territory." Amidst the desperate screams, "We need to retreat." Surfip appeared with a deafening roar. Huin Siak on the ground saw it, his legs trembling. "That's Surfip." His face showed deep concern. "I didn't account for this. It's not even a combative creature. It must think our presence here is an invasion of its territory." Doris raised his hand, ordering, "No good retreat. Everyone retreat." Ryucho beside him grew even more anxious. "Hero, what do we do?" "We can't let Doris leave." Huin Siak gritted his teeth, hissing, "Damn it." He calculated in his mind, "It seems we have no choice but to try this." He ran toward Doris. "Commander Doris." Hearing the call, he turned back to look. "Huin Siak, you must realize it now. All the monsters are rushing here." A small text box appeared. Zigrun-style martial arts first form, instant eradication. He lunged forward with an angry face, punching Doris straight in the stomach. "Why is this my fault, you bastard?" Huin Siak shouted, filled with resentment. "Cancel the order. Do not retreat. Everyone attack. Fight as bravely as the demon lineage." Nidrag and Surfip were battling each other. His voice didn't stop. "We will meet in Valhalla. Do you hear me, all you brave demon warriors?" The retreat order was cancelled, followed by the terrified screams of soldiers. "Help me!" Doris was knocked back, thinking incessantly, "This pain, this sound. Was I betrayed? Why, by a mere human?" His eyes turned blazing red with rage. "A human worm dares to—" Doris's power erupted immediately. Huin Siak. Amidst the explosion of power, he silently swore, "I will trade everything to kill you." His roar was filled with both fury and pain. A line of text appeared signaling his current level. Level up 2, Bloom. Seeing Doris level up, Huin Siak was astonished. "What the hell is that bastard doing?" The boss beside him also sensed the danger and didn't stop urging him. "Run, hero, hurry!" Waves of power from Doris surged toward Huin Siak. He tried to flee. "But where am I supposed to run?" Ko beside him watched with a terrified voice. "Hero!" He escaped the attack and let out a sigh of relief. "That was close. What the hell? What kind of skill is that?" The ground was cratered into a large hole, and Doris was the one who caused it. He clenched his fists, power overflowing from his body. "Huin Siak, I will tear you into pieces!" Seeing this, Huin Siak thought, "This is too dangerous." He looked for his two remaining teammates, Boba and Usaru. Where did they go? Boba and Usaru were surrounded by two blue auras. Jojo knew this and explained, "It seems everyone is trapped in Surfip's attack." Hearing that, he realized his situation was critical. Does this mean I have to take down Doris by myself? Doris's eyes flashed with red light. His teeth gritted so hard he began to bleed. This made Huin Seok wonder. Is he coughing up blood? He silently assessed the opponent's condition. I don't know what skill he's using, but he's already overexerted. I'll just buy time for now. Huin Seok ran forward and shouted, Rachel, tell me where are all the monster nests on the map you showed me earlier. Tell me everything you see. Rachel, flying behind him, pointed, a small group on the left at the 11 o'clock direction. If you go straight, you'll reach the hounds. Hearing that, he replied, Got it. Doris, full of killing intent, chased relentlessly from behind. Do you think you'll survive by running? He cleared all obstacles in his path. Get lost, you monster trash. Huin Seok ran with a smug smile because of his own reasoning. Normal monsters aren't very strong. But if it's their nest, that's a different story. His eyes flashed red, the veins on his neck bulging. Doris yelled, You snake, are you trying to survive? He whispered to himself, I've made up my mind. At least his face revealed a ferocity he had never shown before. I will definitely kill you. Under that ferocity, Doris leveled up again. Level up. Level 3. Fallen petals. He felt the changes in his body and was very pleased. Look at this overwhelming power. Leveling up is a demon's greatest weapon. Doris still didn't give up his intent. Now you're dead for sure. But suddenly he vomited blood, his legs trembling slightly. This surprised Huin Seok. What the hell? Ryucho quickly realized. His demonic power is dropping. Seeing his own trembling body, Doris couldn't help but think, could it be that I've reached my limit as soon as I used fallen petals? I must have used too much demonic power while catching the beast earlier. Then he suddenly turned and left, startling him. Hey, where are you going? He walked away, replying in an annoyed voice, I'm not happy about it, but there's no other way. Doris. He ran fast, his mouth never stopping as he uttered bitter words. Just wait and see, I'll come back to kill you later. Once he recovered his full strength, he shouted his oath. I will never forget this humiliation. He calculated to himself, if my body can recover. Suddenly a loud shout echoed above Doris's head. Hey, you pig! Huin Seok flew toward him, preparing to land his punch. Do you think you can just come and go as you please? Hearing that, Doris couldn't help but get angry. You foolish human, you think you can take me on in a fair fight? You grit your teeth, throwing a punch forward. Take this Red Run style. A surge of blue energy erupts from your fist, slamming into Doris. Red Run Battle Art, 7th Form, Destructive Shockwave. Hyunsik gasps, stunned by his opponent. He actually blocked that attack. Having deflected the strike, Doris roars, You idiot! You've underestimated me far too much. Your feet touch the ground and you gasp, Oh man. Seeing the fierce clash between Hyunsik and Doris, Hamish appears, taking in the scene. What kind of mess is this right in front of my castle? The ground is torn apart by their battle, leaving a massive crater. On this side, Hyunsik is sent flying back, clutching his head in agony. Ugh, my head. All of a sudden, oh. Meanwhile, Doris is wailing, begging, Commander, please spare me. I haven't lost yet. This isn't the end. Hamish, now radiating a terrifying cold aura, commands, Shut your mouth, Doris. Her eyes flash with a crimson light as she lashes out at him. You're so stupid that you let a mere human beat you to a pulp like this. We are at war with humanity. The fact that someone like you was made a Legion commander in times like these makes me shudder. She instantly declares, I have to kill you right now, Hyunsik. Hearing this, Hyunsik leaps up from where he was sitting and shouts, Commander! He raises his leg high, thinking just as she said, right now, right this second. His foot crashes down onto Doris. It knocks him flat. I've defeated the Legion commander. Hamish watches the scene and marvels, a dangerous smile curling on her lips. Right. We did have that bet, didn't we? She gestures. Follow me. It seems we have plenty to talk about. We have a bet going on after all. Follow me, it looks like we have a lot to talk about. The castle echoes with her voice. So even Sephip came along. Hyunsik, hearing the question, replies somewhat flustered. Yes, I didn't expect it either. I mean, who would have thought a battle between giant monsters would happen there? The other person laughs heartily at his response. She sits on her throne, her voice dripping with sarcasm. What's inside that head of yours to make you think like that? Would you mind if I split it open to see? Hyunsik is quite startled. Please try to curb your curiosity. Hamish's tone shifts slightly. Using my own order against me, huh? Quite, cunning, aren't you? As she speaks, she waves her finger at him. Though I don't like it, I'll acknowledge your victory this time. Next time I'll just have to give clearer orders. Hyunsik can only listen and reply, yes, yes. Hamish's voice now carries a hint of a threat. But there won't be a next time. You stand to the side, listening to her warning. If you cause any more trouble, or try those little tricks again, you know what the outcome will be, right? Hyunsik can't hide his trembling. Yes, Commander. A while later, back at Bobo's place, Hyunsik collapses onto the floor, sighing. Somehow I'm still alive today. Rachel chimes in. That was seriously unreal. You ask about your lingering question. Doris's transformation. The level up. What do you think? She looks thoughtful. It seems like some kind of special noble martial art. You should ask that cowhead fellow about it. Bobo lets out a sound from the side as if reminding him. Hyunsik understands and replies, Yeah, you've always had a hard time with those monsters, haven't you? You hug Bobo, stroking him as you continue. The commander could deal with them in one hit. Bobo enjoying the petting purrs, Gao. Hyunsik can't help but sigh. I actually feel bad for Doris. Jojo hears this and replies with a cynical tone. Who was the one who took all the experience points from taking him down? You cover your face, suffering. Sorry, I'm sorry. She looks a bit surprised. Really? But behind his hands, Hyunsik's lips curl into a smile. Of course, I'm deeply sorry. Rachel easily catches on. Hey, take your hands away. You're smiling, aren't you? You realize you've been caught, so you drop your hands and open your system window. I wonder how many levels I've gone up. Looking at the data, Hyunsik is very satisfied. Oh, that's quite a jump. The system displays his stats clearly. Class Hero Candidate, level 420, Strength 134, Agility 132, Mana 133, Stamina 137, Reputation 56, Axe Proficiency C, Leadership D, Cooking F, Magic Control Null, Skill Read-Run Style. Hyunsik notices something unusual. Why are there squares and question marks on the status window? Is this a system error? Jojo, standing beside him, doesn't believe it. What are you talking about? You are very adamant. No, it's true, there really is a square and a question mark right here. She still refuses to believe it. A hero system can't possibly have errors. Are you pranking me again? Hyunsik sees that he can't convince her, so he stops. Forget it. Rachel quickly brushes the matter aside. Enough small talk. Let's check your combat power to celebrate you leveling up 48 times. You don't object. Yeah, it's been a while. She excitedly looks at the system board. All right, let's see the result. Rachel reads the numbers she sees out loud. 13,936. 13,936. Hyunsik hears the stats Rachel read and lifts his chin, feeling smug. Oh, that's a big increase. It feels like just yesterday I couldn't even take down a single goblin. She ignores that attitude and happily flies to another side. I knew it, so I prepared a surprise for you. She then brings over a huge mug of beer. Keep getting stronger like this, drink up. The small house rings with excited laughter. Until the day I chop off the Demon King's head. Cheers to our wealth and glory. At this moment, you are wrapping up your bandages, pondering. Should I go visit Ms. Abelson after today's training? I still have a few questions. From the side, a voice calls out, Hyunsik, someone is walking toward you. You're here pretty early today. You hear the voice and turn to reply, You've arrived, Redrun. Redrun sees you and gives a slight smirk, reflecting on the past. So you've defeated Doris then? My congratulations. Huin Siok was thrilled to receive such praise and replied, Thank you, sir. He then hurried to his side, adding, Actually, I was just about to ask you something regarding that battle. Huin Siok voiced his confusion. Sir, do you know of a skill called level up? Red Room rested his chin on his hand, pondering. If you mean level up, that's an ancient, unofficial style of melee technique. Heen Seok looked surprised. Unofficial, Red Room began to explain, while images from long ago flashed through his mind. Melee techniques are divided into two types, official ones which are tied to specific movements, and unofficial ones which lack a structured form. Compared to the official ones, unofficial melee techniques are quite lacking in terms of versatility. While melee techniques are rare enough as it is, these unofficial ones are passed down even more secretly. Heen Seok listened to the explanation, his mind racing. So the difference lies in attack skills versus enhancement effect skills. He thought an image of the level up skill from the Zedran style appearing in his mind. Red Room continued. However, level up is an ancient, unofficial melee technique passed down for a very long time. Any demon who uses ki can learn it. But it remains an incredibly dangerous technique, so very few dare to use it. Its side effects are severe too. Heen Seok looked down at his own body. Could I possibly learn the level up technique? I do have, well, a bit of demon energy inside me, right? Red Room replied. It's already in your body, but it can't even be considered complete demon energy. I already told you it was dangerous. He still wouldn't give up. There won't be any serious problems, and even if there are, I still have Miss Abelson. Red Room couldn't argue, but he was still very hesitant. But Heen Seok, I still find that... Heen Seok was growing impatient inside, thinking, why is he taking so long to decide? Unable to wait any longer, he grabbed Zedran's leg and sobbed dramatically. Without the level up technique, I'm going to die. You know that, don't you?